Welcome to the Grassroots Garage Podcast. I'm James Bell.
And I'm Joshua Krakow.
We've been friends for years, and like a lot of you, we're fed up with the direction this country's headed.
Going after the real problems, the one headlines skip and politicians dodge.
Let's light it up.
Oh, welcome back. As we said, we're going to go and we wanted to try and get the 9/11 and the Charlie Kirk, but it just wasn't right. It didn't sit right with us, so we're going to jump into the 9/11 conspiracies, and there are just as many, unfortunately, as this Charlie Kirk situation, so
There's quite a few of them.
yeah, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Which ones do you kind of lean towards? Or what conspiracies? I mean, we have the... Do you want to jump with just the two Twin Towers? Do we want to get into Building 7? Do we want to get into the Pentagon building? Do we want to get into the audit of the Federal Reserve?
I mean, we could get into all of them throughout.
What do you want to start
podcast.
with? I'm saying. What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you think is like the biggest? Do you think that do you believe the official story? I guess let's start there.
That the planes took down the towers? I mean,
Yeah.
It's not the most likely scenario, if you ask me, given the way they collapsed.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I mean, it all seems very convenient that they collapsed straight down, didn't take down really any other buildings around them with it, other than the explosion debris at the bottom from when it collapsed in, and the fact that it happened on a day when the World Trade Centers were at their least capacity.
Occupied. Yep.
Like, it just seems like a coincidence. It very well could be.
Well,
But
you have, since we're on the Twin Towers aspect, you have the aspect of, or the theory that there were already thermite on the I-beams and they were cut, and that helped. And then there were also ideas of like explosions underneath that helped collapse it, like a demolition, allowing it to drop straight down. I just listened to a lady today on Patrick Bet-David's podcast about the evaporation theory, which makes a lot of sense because really when you think about it, I mean, there were mounds of, like, I saw pictures. I mean, I wasn't there, but it didn't look like what I would think. I mean, how many stories was the Twin Towers?
oh god, I don't know. I could look it up real quick.
Like-
Keep going about your theory. I'll pull it up.
The Twin Towers were
They were tall.
massive. Like, if you just in materials, like if you demolish a house, you couldn't just put a dumpster in the front yard and fill a dumpster and fit a whole house in a big, like, driveway-sized dumpster.
110 floors.
So 110 floors. Like, I'd imagine that there would at least be like 5 or 6 stories of scrap if it just collapsed directly down. You know what I mean?
Well, there was a big, massive.
But I don't
scrap pile.
think it was like 5 or 6 stories.
Well, but you got to think. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I could look it up as well. But I'm pretty sure there was underground parking and stuff like that. So I mean, there was room
Yeah,
for
but I
stuff
mean-
to fall down under as well.
But I mean, to still kind of fit that footprint, it just doesn't seem like there was enough materials. Plus, she brought up the fact of, like, if it were that case, you'd have explosions of pieces.
They had 7.
What?
There were 7 floors underground level.
That's not that much.
I mean, it's
No.
You just got done saying there'd be about 10 stories of rubble. Well, that's 7 of them underground.
And you have 7 stories of rubble that's collapsing on top of itself too. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't seem.
So 117 stories.
Yeah.
If you had the basement
Yeah.
levels.
So, I mean, I think that you'd still have a mound of material, and it wouldn't be neatly piled either. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it were 7 stories, you'd have to, like, make it a cube of all the
I
material.
don't think it was neatly piled. Like, it was.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it were 7 stories of
what
material,
you're saying.
you'd have to, like, compress it into one small area.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure it was a pretty large debris pile.
I don't know. Have you ever seen, like, some of these demolitions and of some of these tall buildings and how much debris is left? Or, I mean, just to demolish a house. I mean, a house still leaves a lot of rubble that you have to clean up.
Well, yeah.
So
what are you trying to say here? What?
Her theory is basically that we have advanced technologies, which is part of how we have been with the pyramid theory of we have advanced technologies, whether it's moving or evaporating things. That's why there was so much dust. But if it were actually like an explosion and all those materials, I mean, every single building would have looked like a grenade went off. I mean, everything would be peppered. Every building around blocks would be peppered with just debris, getting shot in every direction.
You're saying if there was explosives in it?
Well, just even like if it fell, like if you got the narrative and it all just did collapse directly down, just the sheer force of it would force materials to blast outwards.
Well, and it did.
But the buildings around it weren't peppered.
Here's a high-res image, and I'll drop this in the video too when I edit so people can see it. But I mean, it's a pretty big mess. It's not just all contained right in the same footprint. I mean, it's pretty close to the footprint because it really did collapse basically straight down. But it made a pretty huge mess.
It looks like there's maybe
of it.
3 or 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stories still standing, but that's because they're actual beams. It's not like it's the material that's like just piled and collapsed and intercrossed that it's that high. I mean, that's just structure that's still existing that didn't collapse. But I'm saying, like, if all the material collapsed, you would see like mounds of it. So I honestly think, and I understand that is like the most conspiracy, almost like the heart attack gun idea or Havana syndrome, just because.
I mean, you look at this one zoomed out a little bit more and you can see, I mean, it's a pretty wide swath of destruction down at the base.
Yeah, but look at how many buildings were actually damaged around it.
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, like, look at how much damage was done to surrounding buildings around the Twin Towers when they collapsed. Were all the windows in the surrounding buildings shattered? Question mark.
I would think so. I mean,
you would think.
Even with a controlled demolition.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like they have 100-yard radius around this building with like nets as well on the ground to stop any debris that pours out as well.
Right. What are you trying to get at? Like, what are you trying to say? That it didn't cause that, or what's?
I think that, I mean, after hearing this theory, I think that it probably is kind of like some technology that me and you probably can't actually comprehend, more than even like the thermite aspect. Just because I do think that there would be a lot more debris and mounds of debris that we would have to remove. And also, it's interesting because one of the conversations that a lot of people don't talk about either was there's a hurricane that was like headed directly towards New York City at that time. And it was like aimed directly at it, and it stopped and turned away. It was supposed to hit New York City on September 11th, 2001. Like, you can look it up. I think it was Irene. But what hurricane was supposed to hit during 9/11/2001? But yeah, it literally like changed complete directions. Irene. Or Aaron.
I say Irene did hit.
Aaron. No, Aaron.
I'm pretty sure Irene did hit New York. That was the one that caused flooding and.
Yeah, so the storm's supposed to hit around the time of 9/11. Hurricane Aaron, but instead of making landfall, it curved back out to sea. So, I mean, I do think that, I mean, it's crazy today. Like, last year, most people would have thought that you were a quack bringing up cloud stemming in America. But now we have, like, the state of Florida just banned it. Texas, we know that there was cloud seeding before their flooding. Now, we don't know that it actually happened.
And cloud seeding?
Cloud seeding, yeah. But like a year ago, that would have been me and you, I thought it was a little kooky, to be honest with you. I thought it was theoretical. Like, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that our government does without our knowledge and doesn't inform us on it. But I didn't rule it out.
Yeah.
But I didn't, like, yeah, it's something that we'd be using in Florida. Like, yeah, that we need to ban it. So I think that more or less we're talking about technologies that our government probably does have. I mean, we just looked at, like, this new UFO technology or video of what kind of missile was it? We had some kind of missile just land and hit a UFO, or what are they calling them now? Unidentified flying or
Well, that's what UFO stands
UAP. Yeah, unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Or
That's
I don't
UFO.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to change. I'm glad that we're to the Department of War. I support that. At least we have that label correct. Finally, but yeah, no, I think that we did have a missile that just hit a UFO, and it literally split the missile in half. I don't know if you saw that footage.
No.
But there's a lot of technology that I think that's out there that we don't understand.
Well, has that technology actually, or has that footage been?
Oh yeah, that footage was released.
Well, I mean, is it real?
Yeah, no, our government actually admitted that was.
I mean, nowadays you can AI almost anything.
Yeah, no, this was released by the government. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that we should trust the government. I'll definitely be telling you to be skeptical of it. But at the end of the day, they are claiming that there was a UFO that split a Hellfire missile into two, I think it was. So, I mean, and then again, how can we not get on, or how can we not do pyramids and figure out how they built the pyramids? She also brought up the topic, which I think me and you have discussed too, the Coral Castle in Florida. You don't know about it?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's something I actually want to go check out. But supposedly there is a coral castle in Florida that this guy built, and I guess he had to actually move it. But a lot of the coral was like 25,000-pound pieces of coral or something, like massive amounts of coral, and nobody could understand how he moved it by himself. And nobody actually witnessed him move it, but he only did it at night and overnight. So there's certain technologies, I think, that we don't necessarily understand, and yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of technology that we don't understand.
And that we are gatekeep from.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's. I think they said something along the lines of the government's generally about 10 years ahead, technologically wise, of the general retail public.
Yeah.
And that's purposeful, because that way their technology stays ahead of general masses.
Yeah.
At least that's what's said. So
yeah, it's interesting, but yeah. So I kind of lean towards that theory, to be honest with you. I just think that there would be way more material. I think that, I mean, I believe that there are way more materials that we don't understand, whether it's resonance or, I mean, it may have been a resonance weapon, whether it was like, you know how you can get a certain frequency and you can resonate glass and the glass will just shatter just because of sound? I mean, I think that it could be something like they put resonant weapon that can resonate to a certain sounds frequency in the concrete to atomize the concrete more. But I mean, again, like you have so many mounds of concrete. I mean, it was super thick. During 9/11, one thing that I love to bring up was Trump himself was on video saying they were remarkable buildings. One thing that they were astonished about was that they built this exoskeleton. Like they were steel I-beams on the outside, not just on the inside core. And that was the first of its kind. Like most of our towers today are not built, or at that time weren't built to that standard. It was just like, why do you build an exoskeleton? You don't need that much skeleton. But they did it, and it gives it that extra strength. Also, when you look at like I think it was like 92, they had that bomb underneath the building that went off. The World Trade Centers actually were bombed once before.
No, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe, well, once that we know of. I can't, say that they've been bombed twice. But with that being said, yeah, so they've been bombed once, and you would think that if they were bombed once, that it would actually do more damage than doing damage at the top, too. Like, it's kind of like Jenga. Like, if you pull one piece of the top, it's less likely to have the whole thing go down, where if you pull one of the structural strings at the bottom, well, boo!
To an extent. I mean, because where the planes hit wasn't really at the top. I mean, it was closer to the top than the bottom, obviously.
Like 2/3, I'd say.
But I mean, if that part gives out, and then let's say you've got however tall the plane is, 2-3 stories worth of destruction from it hitting, that collapses, and you've got the other stories way up here that are falling down that 3 stories, and that weight is going to crush down on top of that stuff. And that's the official theory, or the official whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is that's what caused that part came down, hit this, and then caused it to just kind of accordion.
Yeah,
downward.
it just,
Which,
yeah.
Is it possible? Maybe. I'm not a freaking engineer, but it doesn't seem likely.
Well, typically, if you have an exoskeleton and then an inner frame, you would think that the supports, and also, why would the exoskeleton not still be standing as well? Like, that's another thing. Like, if the floors were there, like, wouldn't the steel, like the main steel I-beam still be?
I mean, my thought process is if where it hit at, so, I mean, you've got this building like this, and it hits in the side. This half has the damage, so when the top collapses, it's not going to collapse straight down because there's more structural support on the side that wasn't hit, which would cause the top to do more like this and start to teeter and topple over, which would be a completely different destruction path than what we've seen. I mean, again, I'm not a structural engineer or whatever, but that just seems the most logical to me.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that basic, like, the fact that it did not go, or the fact that it went straight down, I think makes the official narrative just
not sound right.
Yeah.
And especially when you're talking
like
about...
Occam's razor says, every conspiracy leads to more honest than,
Oh, it's like with the Building 7, where that thing essentially just free fell straight down.
Yeah.
That's weird. To say, I mean, for lack of any better term for it, that's strange for it to do. Unless,
it caught fire.
Well, yeah, but why is it still going to cause it to collapse literally almost completely inside of its own envelope?
I mean...
A fire's going to do that? Maybe. I guess it's possible.
When you...
controlled demolition's definitely going to do that, so...
Fires typically, of buildings of that size, it typically takes a few hours to... for it to lose structural integrity. So I'm being devil's advocate in saying that there was a fire.
I mean, there was.
Well, but it would not have fallen at that rate. I do agree with you on that aspect.
Well, and then there's people...
And how was the fire started? With a commercial building with sprinklers that didn't go off.
Well, the theory is the debris from the main building that hit it is what caused the fires, but
the buildings around it weren't. It just happened to be Building 7.
Yeah.
And then also...
And didn't the plane that hit the... not to purposefully jump all over the place, but the plane that hit the Pentagon, didn't it hit an empty wing?
What?
Didn't it hit like an empty wing of the Pentagon?
No.
No, it was mostly empty?
No. It was the wing that was auditing the Federal Reserve.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I could have sworn...
Which is why we still have no clue what's going on in Fort Knox or in the Federal Reserve, and whether or not there actually is the accountability, or whether it's just a bunch of bloat and nonsense and a bunch of fake numbers like the rest of our government is. But
you mean they lie to us?
No, they don't do that.
They wouldn't do that. Why would they lie to us?
Mommy and Daddy love us. No, but
Oh no, it did.
What?
I was right. It hit a portion of the Pentagon that was currently under renovation, and parts of the struck area were still vacant or very sparsely staffed due to the renovations under construction. So I mean, it literally hit like the least populated portion
Yeah.
possible.
But isn't that where
And the planes hit the
audit
World
was
Trade
doing?
Center on the least populated time.
Yeah.
It just seems all too convenient. It
Oh, yeah.
really does. I mean,
Well, also you have Larry Ellison, who just bought the buildings, or just got the lease for the buildings. He just got insurance on it, which most people were saying was nearly impossible because of the amount of asbestos that was found in the buildings. The buildings were riddled with asbestos, and
was it asbestos concrete or
drywall.
drywall?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that stuff's safe as long as you're not turning it into powder.
yeah.
But
So it was high asbestos rates, and they were needing to remove the asbestos because of the exposure. So
well, yeah, it makes it, when you got to do remodels. Yeah, it makes it
yeah,
a pretty big to do.
so it was very hard to insure the building. Plus, Larry Ellison was able to somehow get the biggest payout, but not only just the biggest payout, but he got paid out twice because each plane was considered a terrorist attack. So his insurance said it was one plane was a terrorist attack, and then a second plane hit, so it was a second terrorist attack. So he got paid twice, once per terrorist attack for the buildings. So he really got a good payout. And like I said, I think he only had the lease for like a week or two prior to it happening.
That's
and-
weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah, prior to that, every single day he always met his family to have lunch on top of Building 7, I believe. And he just didn't happen to do it that one day as well. So there's a lot of things, in my opinion, that just don't add up. Yeah, I definitely think that it was a false flag. I think that unfortunately our government has used it for narco war, whether it was Poppy, and also for
Wait,
the lithium in Afghanistan.
who did you say owned it?
Wasn't Larry
Larry Silverstein.
Silverstein?
What did you say?
Sullivan?
All right.
I think Silverstein. Yeah.
Yeah,
Larry
he
Silverstein.
signed a 99-year lease
And when was it
on
signed?
the complex from the Port Authority in July of 2001.
August, September, so 2 months.
Yeah, it was $3.2 billion that he bid to lease/purchase it.
If he was smart, he didn't even have to pay his first payment.
He put up $14 million of his own equity.
Man, 14 million. That's the first 2 months, and that's all he needed. Seriously.
Yeah, there's too many coincidences to think that. And that I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I've read things about how the pilots weren't even from out of country, like
Well,
not the pilots, but the terrorists.
I love the passport thing too. Finding the terrorist passport on the grounds, like a block away, unburned in the debris. Like, oh, that's the guy! I found the passport! Like, I saw that guy on the news. I just picked up his passport. Here, let me turn it in.
I'm assuming you haven't watched. Oh man, why can't I think of his name? The guy who ran Fox News forever. Now he left Fox News. And he's doing his own thing now. He just created a movie on 9/11.
Oh,
Why can't I think of his name?
Tucker Carlson.
Thank you, Carlson. I'm assuming you haven't seen his movie yet.
No.
I think he wants a subscription fee to watch it. I think we talked about that
Yeah.
last week off air.
Yep.
Yeah. It's got to be behind a paywall.
Yeah, no, I think, let me double check this. Did the 9/11 terrorists learned to fly at RSW Airport in Fort Myers? Because I remember something about them learning to fly in Fort Myers at the airport. So 2 hijackers trained at aviation in Venice. They also used other flight schools in Florida, Arizona, different licenses and ratings. RSW is not mentioned.
So Venice, still close. One of your lights just died.
Maybe. Sorry, not I think it was Page Field that I was thinking of.
I knew that there was some training done in Florida. I don't know which airports.
Okay. Yeah, no, I guess not. I guess it was the Venice airport that they learned. But, yeah, that's an interesting thing, too, that, yeah. But, again, I think that it's kind of one of those things where I'm not a pilot, and I'd be curious to know from, like, a trained pilot, but it just doesn't seem like if you're getting training with, like, any of these pilot schools, most of the time you're not getting your commercial pilot's license. Like, I don't know that these guys got their commercial pilot's license. I think that they probably just got, like, a private pilot's license.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Which, with that being said...
When you're hijacking the plane, you don't necessarily need to have any license. I mean,
Well,
as long
exactly.
as you know how to operate the thing.
But, I mean, one of those planes are... I would imagine it's like trying to... Okay, well, I've driven a dinghy, so taking on a cruise ship should be pretty easy, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like there is a few complexities, a few more complexities when it comes to, like, just what I would assume their basic training. I'm just projecting, but I don't think they were trained in commercial pilots.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, I don't know. I wonder how much flying, like, just a small Cessna and getting, like, just a basic private license, saying, oh, well, let's go get in a 747 and have some fun. Like, I don't know. I think that there's a lot more complexities to it.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, let's talk about the motivation. I mean, if this was some sort of planned event,
yeah.
which a lot of things seem to point in that direction, why? I mean, I know why I would think, but I'm asking.
Did you ever, what was the Osama bin Laden's letter? You know what I'm talking about? There's a letter that Osama bin Laden wrote about grievances. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I'm sure I heard about it back then, but...
Yeah, there's a letter. I never actually read the official letter, but basically it goes into how the U.S. has gone in and basically played world police. And it's like legitimate grievances as why some Muslim countries do not like us. I mean, it's, in my opinion, it relates to why we are bombing Israel. It's like, we'll just bomb you because we think that you're getting a little too close to our control, so we'll keep you down a notch. And it's like, I think that that is probably it. Now, I'm not saying one way or another whether Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein or whether they were actually in it. I mean, I'm pretty sure, wasn't Osama bin Laden part of ISIS originally, and then we ended up making ISIS, and then we made ISIL.
There's conspiracies about that too. There's
like, isn't there, like, I don't know. I just think that we basically double-crossed maybe somebody that worked with our government in some capacities, and maybe he did go rogue, maybe he didn't. But I think more or less he probably was a patsy for the big push.
why did we never see a body? I mean, there's a lot of questions that...
Yeah, why do you throw them out to sea? Yeah. No, I think that again,
according to this, ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIL, evolved from Al Qaeda.
But did the United States fund Al Qaeda? I'm pretty sure that we've made like all these damn regimes, then we create another regime to try and take out that regime because we don't want to be in their backyards all the time. So we just play.
Well, there's a lot of claims about that we created ISIS in an indirect fashion to help destabilize the region.
Yeah.
Like on purpose, and then
is it even a conspiracy though?
Well, it's a claim. I mean,
well, have they admitted it though? I'm pretty sure they've admitted it.
I don't think they've
Did
actually
the United
admitted
States create ISIS, ISIL, and Al Qaeda? Question mark.
And then it talks about, define created it. You know what I mean?
So it says Al Qaeda formed in the 1980s by Osama bin Laden, other during the Soviet Union. The U.S. role, the U.S. did not directly create Al Qaeda, but the U.S., along with Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, supported Afghan Mahdi fighters resisting the Soviets. So we took the side that weapons, and training indirectly benefited networking. So we gave them weapons and training and money. So we propped them up one way or another. And that's Al Qaeda.
The U.S. is notorious for selling weapons that we no longer need or use, or surpluses, into all over the country. I mean, not country, all over the world.
And then ISIL and ISIS emerged from Al Qaeda in Iraq, founded by Abdul Masab after the U.S. invasion in Iraq in 2003. After the death, U.S. role. That's what I want to know. The U.S. invasion of Iraq, the disbanding of Iraqi army created conditions, chaotic insurgencies that helped ISIS grow. Some U.S. weapons captured from Iraqi armies and indirectly supplied to Syrian rebels added up to ISIS hands. Key point, the U.S. did not create ISIS, but the U.S. policies and wars in Iraq and Syria were major factors in enabling its rise. So, yeah, I don't know. We should not be the world police, and that I think is why 9/11 more or less happened, kind of like the Gulf of Tonkin, which we can get into that as well.
I agree we shouldn't be the world police. And I mean, there's the theories out there that, Bush Sr. with the war over there.
Yeah.
Never got to finish what he started.
Yep.
So Bush Jr. wanted to finish it off. I mean, there's a lot of theories. I really want to watch Tucker Carlson's video to see what kind of proof, tangible proof he might have come up with. Because I think it'd be interesting to see.
Well, there's one that the firefighters also did too that I haven't watched.
Like the New York firefighters or something?
Yeah. Yeah, there was, because a lot of the firefighters don't believe in the official story either.
Nah.
Because one of the main fire chiefs went into the building and was going up the stairs and was like, yeah, everything's fine up here, everything's clear, and then all of a sudden, radio silence. So, so a lot of people think that it was more of an explosion than anything else.
Well, there's a lot of reports of people saying they heard an explosion, and I mean, the official story is that when people are in a high stress situation like that, they can mistake, the banging of the building collapsing as an explosion, things like that. Which, is that feasible? Maybe it's possible, but I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't, say, oh yeah, there's a loud bang.
I think there was something about the stairs underneath him also disappeared from underneath him. He was just stuck.
Well, the video of 7, there's a video that's been circulating around. Whether or not it's real, who the hell knows in this day and age. But I mean, you literally see like an outward explosion.
Yeah.
For lack of any better way to say it. I mean, it literally just goes boom, and then the thing free falls.
Yeah.
Which is what you would see on a controlled demolition. I mean.
Yep.
So I mean, if that video is real.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't know. I personally think that it was more like the Gulf of Tonka. I wish that they'd finally admit it, just like the Gulf of Tonka. I mean, maybe it'll be our lifetime that we'll actually get the truth. Trump was supposed to do it. He still hasn't.
And we're supposed to get the truth on Epstein, too.
Yeah. But needless to say, I think it was more or less a Gulf of Tonka incident, whether it was for the opium sales because of all the poppy out there, and Afghanistan became like the largest producer of opium throughout the world.
Oh, there's soldiers that talk about that, how they were they were defending opium fields. Like it's absurd. What?
So I wonder who got rich off of all that opium. How much money was through that opium?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was the U.S. playing war against South America, even, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying, I mean, even if we give our government the benefit of the doubt and that clean devil's advocate, say they are trying to attack like the opium sales and all the drug sales from South America, just admit it. Like, just tell us. Like, if you're trying to take over this because it's easier and dealing with the cartels in South America is harder and whatever, and we still want to maintain our we're drug addicts. Welcome to America. I don't know, but
I mean, they got to keep making their fentanyl and their
I mean,
hydrocodone and all that other crap, all the opiates.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that it's crazy how I think that we really should be able to get back to just a Vicodin or just a Dilaudid or just I mean, Dilaudid is powerful. I can tell you. I don't know how you can have
morphine. I mean, they've used that for many years.
Yeah, or morphine.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like if hydrocodone, or no, what was it?
Have you seen this is a little bit off topic, but we're talking about drugs now. Have you seen the documentary on Netflix that has to do with I mean, it's like a show slash...
The Sheckler? Or the Heckler family or whatever? Sackler?
Something like that. It's a show, but it's based on...
The drug?
Yeah, where they're making the guy who develops the fentanyl.
Painkillers?
And yeah, it's...
Yeah. Yeah, I watched that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but...
Yeah. No, but I really think that a lot of these painkillers, they just keep on making them more and more potent. And, I mean, obviously if you're losing a limb or something like that, you'd want to have something potent, but it seems like they just...
Well, they prescribe it for, like, everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Like, let's just go straight to the top.
Painkillers, what is
Yeah.
Fictionalized retelling. But my dog had to have surgery. She had the, what is it called? For a human, it's called an ACL. For a dog, they call it something else. I forget what it's called, but she had a complete tear. So she had to have surgery. They had to cut in there, cut part of the bone out, attach a hinge.
Yeah.
And the doc prescribed her a fentanyl patch.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought my dog was going to die. Like,
Yeah.
literally. I mean, they shaved off a part of this, the hair on her leg and then slapped this patch on there. And she's laying on my floor. Mind you, I mean, you know my dog. She's normally energetic, hyper, active. She was laying on the floor with, like, her tongue hanging out and, like, drool just, like, rolling out onto the floor, like, barely responsive.
Yeah.
Like, I took it off of her. I called him the next day because I wasn't going to go to sleep with her acting like that. Like, who knows? I could have killed her overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they just overprescribe these pills, and I mean, sometimes it's better to live with some pain. I mean, I don't want to take a painkiller. I don't know why. Like, before all this, before the fentanyl crisis and all this, I mean, I was scared straight just knowing the few people that I knew that got addicted to drugs and whatnot. I never wanted to touch something and get addicted to it myself. So I was always weary. But I mean, now with how many people are dying of fentanyl and stuff like that, it's like,
It's insane.
it's even more of a reason not to get hooked. It's like, okay, well, they're going to get me on this. And how many people, I mean, everybody knows somebody, it seems like, that has died of fentanyl, or know a friend that knows somebody that has died of fentanyl.
Far too many.
So, I mean, my anti-drug is the overdoses, like, or the addictiveness. Like,
Well, it's like, how many of these people that are prescribed something safe like fentanyl, or even, hydrocodone and some of this powerful stuff, or Roxicet, that could have just been prescribed some medical marijuana, for example.
yeah,
Like, it may not be quite as potent, but you kick back on your couch and smoke a blunt, I guarantee you're going to feel better.
well, also, I mean,
I can't
let's
speak
be
to
honest.
certain things, but
Let's be honest, most of these people that are on medical marijuana or even taking these pills for painkillers, they're moving on with their life, especially after like 2 or 3 weeks of it. Like if you're on, say, an Oxycontin and go back to work, you don't think that they're going to be driving to work?
that's what I was looking for. I said hydrocodone, I meant oxy.
Yeah. But you don't think that they're going to be taking an oxy and going to work on an oxy and driving, operating a machine, a car while on an oxy? I mean, they just become numb. It's like, okay, well, I feel like this is the new normal now after a while, so I'm fine driving, just like marijuana or just like drinking. I mean, this is the new normal.
Well, then the medical field complains about people that are drug seekers. The nurses and NPs and doctors have to really look out for people that are drug seekers.
Yeah.
They come in and saying they're in massive amounts of pain when really they're just hooked on synthetic heroin and need their fix.
Yeah.
And it's like the medical community complains about that, and it's like, you guys literally are the ones who created the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you and Big Pharma, obviously, but Big Pharma didn't prescribe it. The doctors did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the doctors got kickbacks, especially during the oxycodone days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still get kickbacks. They get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies all the time.
Yeah.
Which, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, I was just thinking we need to go back to 9/11,
but it's like, I think we already had a podcast about this, didn't we?
I don't know, probably.
I'm pretty sure one of it hasn't aired yet, but yeah, I mean, it's insane. But,
I think that we talk about the military-industrial complex, and I think it was a combination of the military-industrial complex because, hey, we're going to go to war. And also, I don't know.
Well, the president.
I don't know if our country could function without continuous war, just because of how much of our economy is spent on the military-industrial complex.
There's a lot.
And then if there isn't...
Well, no, we can definitely operate without war. I mean, Trump's first presidency, we had 4 years of no war, which was one of the first presidents.
We were still in Afghanistan.
Well, no new war. I guess I can put it that way. I think
there was no new war during Biden.
I'd have to look
Obama's administration.
No, I'm pretty sure Trump was the first president out of the last 20 or something like that didn't start a new war.
Obama didn't start a new war. He just was in Afghanistan. And I mean, we still were drone bombing places. Both of them did. Somalia and Yemen.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that we didn't have things happening during that, but I'm saying a new war, like a new something that started.
I don't think there was a new war during Obama.
I'm going to look it up so I'm not completely wrong. But
I know that they try to give that to Trump, and it sounds nice, but I don't think that Trump can actually say that I'm the only one.
So that's mostly true with a few nuances. So technically Joe Biden didn't start any new wars, but he got involved in the conflict via proxy with Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah. And then what about Obama?
Trump's first term was no new war started, focused on withdrawals from Afghan, Syria, troop reductions. Barack Obama was Libya 2011. Regime change bombing campaign, expanded drone wars, Yemen, Somalia, Pakistan, and escalated Afghanistan.
Well, you could say that Trump was Yemen and
Bush Jr. was Afghanistan and Iraq, obviously.
Yeah.
Clinton was Kosovo, NATO bombing campaign. Bush Sr. was Panama invasion and the Gulf War against Iraq.
Yeah.
Reagan was Grenada. Like, there's been basically a new war started with every single presidency. Yeah. I guess you could say maybe not with Biden because he kind of did stay out of Ukraine. Yeah. We got involved, though.
And he only had 1 year or one term, too. So,
I mean, there's constantly new wars being started. I mean, and it's because war generates capital. I mean, it's profitable in certain ways.
I think that our government, I think we've talked about it. I think that our government ultimately is, the analogy that I see it as is I look at our government going into the strip club and being that NFL player that just got his rookie contract. Like, he just got first draft pick, rookie contract. Hey, boys, let's celebrate. He brings all of his friends. Everybody that was at the strip club was having a good time, not spending any money. The baller comes in. Everybody in the club is focusing on him now. So everybody that was there, I'm going to go hang out over there because he's got all the girls and he seems pretty cool. He's my boy now. Night goes on. He runs out of money. He leaves. There's plenty of women. They're not chasing after him anymore once his money's gone. They're not friends. They're fair weather friends. And that's, I think, what our allies really are. I mean, we only have a lot of allies because we are the biggest kid in the block. And it's harder to get the collective to be able to compete with us. I mean, NATO against us, without us, would not be able to take us on. Like, maybe that's American ego?
No, I was about to say that's debatable, but
yeah. I mean, I think that we are NATO. Like, I think that
we're probably the biggest the biggest factor in there. But like, I mean, when you combine several other countries against us, we're not that powerful to where if we had multiple countries, large countries, mind you.
Well, also, I don't know that a lot of these countries have intergalactic or intercontinental missiles.
I mean, talking about war, though, war is not like, even if there was a World War III, for example, like a new world war to start, it wouldn't look anything like 1 and 2. I mean, it's going to be so much subterfuge. There's so much more technology now.
Oh, you're talking about a World War III?
I'm saying if there ever was. I'm not saying there's going to be. I'm just saying if there ever was, it's not going to be so much boots on the ground as it was in the prior world wars. It's going to be more attack the infrastructure, shut down things so they can't operate. That's how it's going to start. It's going to be, I mean, we're in a trade war at the moment.
I think that
a lot of people want to say that Trump started the trade war. I mean, China's been coming at us as far as economically in a trade war fashion way before Trump. I mean, he's just bringing it to light and making it a big thing. You know what I mean? They've been completely attacking our economy for a long time.
Well, I mean, if we want to get into that aspect and into like tariff areas, I personally think that if we get rid of our military, we don't need to tariff. Our military is the reason why we need to tariff. Because we are ultimately the world police. We have naval ships all over the globe. And we ensure that all these cargo ships are able to go from India to Europe and from Europe to Asia and from Asia to the United States and all the oceans. So if the U.S. didn't have so many naval ships basically being the world police, I think we would see that costs of goods would go up possibly, I mean, ideally, if our tariffs are correct, they'd be where the tariffs would be set. But at the end of the day, the insurance companies would have to people would have to pay way more for insurance because who's going to come after or come and help you if the Somalian pirates come and attack your ship? Right now, all these cargo ships, they're not allowed to have any guns on their big shipping containers with billions of dollars worth of assets. They can only have water cannons.
Which is ridiculous, but yeah.
Well, that's because of international waters and because of shipping
Regulation.
receiving countries' dock ports and stuff like that. And the fact that they understand that the U.S. is going to keep them safe in that international water. So you'd see these cargo ships and whatnot having arms, and you'd see these costs be reflected almost like a tariff, but it would actually, I think that the biggest problem is we have focused so much on globalism that there are so many countries that are not able to be self-sufficient. And that's really what our World War III is it's the race to self-sufficiency because we are realizing that the threads of the global agenda just are not taking. Well, it is a fragile thread.
We've had a conversation off air probably, I don't know, a year or two ago. Like I said to all of our viewers on our last video, we used to do this over the phone. We used to just have like hour-long conversations about random shit, which is why we turned it into a podcast. But we had an argument, basically, a debate about the military in the U.S. And you talked about our military is way too big. We need to cut it down. There's no reason to have such a big military. The best analogy I can make of that is kind of like guns in America. So there's a lot of those people out there, especially on the far left, they're like, just ban guns and take all the guns away. It's like, there's something like 800 million guns in the U.S. Like, we're far beyond that point.
Yeah.
You can't do it. It's just not feasible.
Yeah.
You start taking it from all the law-abiding citizens, only the criminals are going to have them. They're all over the place. It'll be a freaking mess. It's the same problem with our military. We've created the beast that we're stuck funding at this point. Because if we were to get rid of the military and we no longer had the big hammer,
yeah,
the amount of people that would come at us, the only reason they don't is because we have the big hammer. That would cause a whole massive problem for the United States. Now, if they were to tactfully do it and start slowly backing off, changing policies, and you're talking over the course of probably 100 years that it would take for us to back off the global scene without causing a backlash onto ourselves. I mean, is it possible? Sure. Is it feasible? Not really. Especially not in an overnight sense. You can't just go, oh, there goes half our military. So it's just not going to work.
So a little bit of reference.
It'd be bad for us.
So a little bit of historical reference, and this is what I believe, is Thomas Jefferson said, we have the wolf by the ear, and we can neither hold it nor safely let him go, when he was talking about slavery.
Okay.
And the analogy is that if you have a wolf by the ear, this thing's going to attack you. Like, you don't really have it under control if it's only by the ear. And if you let it go, well, maybe it's going to attack someone else. So what do?
Or you, because you just got to
Or you,
ear.
Exactly. So it's a very dangerous situation. Like, you have this thing that you're hurting in a manner, and it could kill you.
How are you tying that back? What's your point?
It's the same thing with slavery. I mean,
why are we going to slavery? What about military? We're talking about military.
So slavery, the reason why I'm bringing up slavery is it could have gone we could have had every black person try to hang every white person the moment the chains got off. I mean, I think, not saying that this will get a controversial take and clip-baited quick, but, I mean, if you look at segregation, segregation actually hurt the African-American culture by forcing acceptance of communities, because the African-American community actually was stronger at that time, prior to the divorce of segregation. But
I'm still waiting to see how this ties back to military.
Well, no,
Waiting for the connection.
I think that the military, if we leave and we basically say, hey, we're just cutting all of our costs and removing ourselves. Yes, they could say, oh, well, clearly they're weak and we can take them on. And
that's a high probability. We've pissed off a lot of nations.
Yeah, but we pissed off a lot of slaves too, I'm sure. I mean, how would you feel if you were a slave? And then all of a sudden you got your freedom.
I get the analogy.
And you got your chains off and...
I get the analogy you're trying to make.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I don't really want to get into the whole slavery topic because that's a whole nother topic, but like when you released all the slaves, you weren't releasing people that had large militaries that could compete with you when you were at full power.
They had the right to buy guns. They had the right to...
But I'm just saying they didn't have that already. So like if we were to back off the world stage, China has been working on their military for a long time at this point. Many, many years. They've been funding a lot of money into their military. Russia, rather large military, obviously not quite as effective as we all thought it was, considering the war with Ukraine and how poorly that went. But, I mean, Germany, these countries have large working militaries.
Yeah.
And several of them hate us.
Well, look at...
They don't mess with us because that's like the runt of the wolf pack trying to poke at the alpha. It's not going to end well. But if the alpha breaks a leg and he no longer is that powerful...
But most of our technology is, to our knowledge anyways, is like naval ships. I mean, we have a naval ship that could probably be taken down by 5 drones right now. Like, I mean, everything is so much smaller. All of our stuff is so cumbersome to our knowledge. Again, we're talking about 9/11, so we may have technology, like I said, I'm not opposed to believing that we do have technology that can evaporate things.
Well, I'm sure that our like,
vaporize things.
Our destroyers and our carrier ships and all that stuff, they have very sophisticated defense systems that trying to get a drone over top of that to drop a bomb on it is not going to be an easy thing to do. That's just my guess. I would assume these ships are probably, I don't even know how much they cost, but obviously many, many billions, if not into trillions. I have no idea. They're very expensive ships. I guarantee you they have some very sophisticated defense systems.
Yeah.
To help defend them from, say, you flying a drone over it and dropping a damn nuke on it. Like, the chance...
Well, I'm not saying a nuke, but...
Well, I'm just using that as an example. Obviously, I was just going to an extreme with my example, but the chances of you pulling that off...
I don't know. I mean, with the size...
But at the same time,
with these new drones
if they're not prepared for it, and you have a land of sea missile, and you fire it from the land, and you manage to hit the ship, the other reason they're not going to do that is because that's not our only ship. As soon as you do that and you attack...
But this is like the thing.
There's a guy on Facebook. Oh, man. I can't think of his name right now. I so want to promote him because it's hilarious. He's a military vet. And he does, like, skits over top of, like, the fighter jets and different, like, military things.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious because he gives them all like a personality. Like he has the old bomber talking like an old geezer, you know, from World War II. Yeah. And then he has the new, what is it, the F-35, the newest fighter jet. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. Anyway, it's talking like a young, you know, psycho kid because it's the new fighter jet that hasn't had a war yet. Like,
yeah.
But he makes comments about a lot of this stuff in the military. And I forget exactly where I was going with this, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
I had a point, but I lost the point in trying to remember his name because it's bothering
me. Well, like we have like mosquito drones that are like the size of your finger, like that are able to fly like 160 miles an hour now. And they are only getting smaller. Like the technology that we have on these battleships were designed to shred. Like there's a cool technology from like 2010.
Sorry, I just remembered my point. The one thing he always says that America is like behind is don't touch the ships. Like if you touch the ships, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
And he makes jokes about it, obviously, but it's like don't touch the ships. And like there was one that skit where, you know, it was like China and they were talking like, "Oh, you better get your ships out of here," like going off, and he's like, "Don't touch the ships." And then it was like Germany was like, "Don't touch the ships, guy," and then Russia was like, "Don't touch the ships, man."
Yeah, no, I think that really
you're going to get a massive backlash. Is my point. So even if you could drop a bomb on one or two of the ships, there's
but the question
whole armada behind
is,
it.
the question is, how do you pick up some of these mosquito drones? I don't know that a lot of these drones are able to be picked up on radar.
Well, even if but then they're too small to carry a massive payload.
It doesn't take a big payload. You just need to precisely place it. Just like the reason why we needed our bunker busters in Iran is because they are precisely dropped and able to go directly down. But I mean, it's all about precision.
Habitual line crosser. In case anybody is curious, I had to look it up. 'Cause I had to figure out his name. But yeah, look it up. His videos are hilarious.
Yeah. But no, I just think that our technology that we keep on spending on, especially in current war, I mean, our battleships should be retired. I couldn't imagine how much those things are costing us every year to just maintain.
Oh, I'm sure it's a ton.
I mean,
But
we keep on trying to sink ships. One of the ships that was sent over to, I think, Gaza and Israel, people have been speculating that there might be a false flag attack on because it's one that's getting ready to retire. So it would be great to do a false flag on it because we need to get rid of it anyways.
I get what you're saying.
So,
well, here, hold that thought. I gotta take a break real quick.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. We're back. We were talking about, you mentioned a battleship that
Yeah.
is about to be excommunicated or
Decommissioned.
decommissioned, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yep. So, no, and that's kind of the thing is it seems like we just have this bloodthirst. And I personally think that we would just be better off if we just said, okay, we're done. Like, I think that every time we kill one of these, it seems like Muslim countries primarily, especially with this Israel situation that we find ourselves in now, all these Muslim countries, when we kill one, I'm almost positive that 10 are radicalized. Like, I'm pretty sure that if you killed me, my daughter would be radicalized. Like, and a lot of these families, you're having like, it's not like one or two children. You're having, like, some of these Muslim families have 6, 10, 12 kids. So we're only creating more of a headache the longer that we play this. We're going to control the world. And we'll just eviscerate you.
Me and you don't disagree on that. We need to stop being the world police. There's no reason for us to continue. Like I said, it wouldn't be as easy as just stopping. But we got to stop. Like, it's going to take a long process, but we got to stop. And to your point that you made earlier, that I kind of foreshadowed by trying to figure out who the hell that other YouTuber was, where you said if we start pulling back our ships and stop patrolling all the seas and allow the cargo ships and the companies running the cargo ships to fund their own defenses, I agree with that 100%. It would may not lower our real cost because we're going to keep spending money on these.
Yeah, it would get rid of the tariffs, I think. Tariffs would disappear.
It would definitely eliminate some costs, and it would put some costs back on the public market to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But that could also increase cost of goods, because then when you increase the cost of shipping, because now it has to have armed security,
well, that's what I'm saying.
You're going to have
the
multiple
cost of
factors to that. But when you get to the tariffs, a kind of an interesting point about tariffs is they say, well, what if we were able to remove federal income tax and have tariffs pay for it, like apparently was historically done? Is that a feasibility in 2025? I don't know.
Well, when they cite those statistics, yes, that is true, but the operations of the government were not existent. We didn't have roads when that happened. Like,
well,
period.
We can both agree that our federal government is
most
completely
of our
bloated
fire
at this
departments were voluntary.
Granted, but again, we can both agree that our federal government is severely bloated.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
And
Well, I mean,
one way that I really like, and it's been talked about for many, many years, everybody's like, oh, it would be so hard to implement that. No, it really wouldn't, is a flat tax. Why?
on
Our
income or
for federal income
sales?
tax. Like, our federal tax structure is so convoluted. You basically have to have a degree to understand it, which is why we literally have people with degrees file our taxes for us.
Yeah.
Because it's that convoluted. Why? You make $100,000, you pay 12%, I owe you 12 grand.
Yeah.
How simple would that be? Add some deductions and then make it 15 or 16%, make it a little bit higher, and then add some deductions for, charitable things so the rich people don't stop funding charities. But like, why would that be so complicated? Not only that, we could get rid of a massive amount of bloat in the form of our IRS. Our IRS is just severe bloat for our country. Waste of taxpayer money, waste of time, waste of effort, waste of manpower.
It actually harms GDP because people are busy getting their papers together rather than actually producing
But for what
goods.
purpose? The only purpose that I can see of having an incredibly convoluted tax law like we have now is control. That's literally the only purpose I can see for it.
Why do we have the Federal Reserve?
Well, and to benefit the people that can manipulate the tax law.
Why do we have the Federal Reserve? Control and the ability to manipulate the markets.
But that's my entire point is,
Yeah.
At what point, I don't know what the answer is, because it's like, at what point do the American people understand that this is a broken system, and the only people who can change that broken system are the American people, because the people in power are not going to do it because they benefit from it.
Well, I mean, I think that...
I mean, we literally, and we talked about this in another podcast, but we literally went to war over a small tax on imported goods.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and now we're sitting here at a federal tax income rate of anywhere from, like, I think it's, 14 to 37% or something like that, with the average person being taxed somewhere between, like, 37 and 50% of their income when you factor in all the taxes that apply between, the tax on your gas, the tax on your alcohol, cigarettes, insurance, all that. Because everything's taxed. Your sales tax. You're at an effective tax rate between, like, 30 and 50%, depending on your income bracket. It's insanity.
No, for sure. I mean, the real problem is that, I mean, I think we need to go back to prior Federalist Papers, where we were deciding how much power the federal government had over the state governments. And, I mean, I think that the Federalist Papers went completely against the 10th Amendment, which basically left all the powers to the states if it wasn't left to the Constitution.
Okay.
Or in the Bill of Rights, should I say. So, if we actually followed, in my belief, if we followed the 10th Amendment, states would actually be in session year-round, not 60 days like most states operate currently.
So you're saying,
and the
strip
federal
the
government,
federal government of a lot of its bloat and give power back to the states.
Give power back to the states.
I can agree with that.
And that would be a step in the right direction. But then you're talking about reducing a lot of the federal stuff, which is Social Security, war, Department of Education, FDA.
I mean, we are so far off our original topic, but like, when you mention Social Security, it is so broken.
Well, it's a Ponzi scheme. It never was designed to...
Well, it used to be voluntary too, but it is such a broken... Like, I can invest my own money and get a significantly better return than what the government will ever give in Social Security. And that's just by dropping my money...
Just put it in gold. If you take your
well, not even just that. I'm saying just drop your money in an ETF. It's super easy nowadays.
Yeah.
Go on Robinhood, buy SPY, buy QQQ. This is not investment advice. Put it in an ETF fund and just let it sit. In 30 years, it'll have grown massive due to compounded interest over the growth rate of that ETF, assuming you picked a decent ETF. But meanwhile, the government is sitting there basically just losing money. I mean,
Especially with
asinine.
inflationary rate.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Literally none. And that's
Let me
why
see.
most small business owners, they'll structure their corporation as an S corporation, and they only have to put X amount of money into Social Security. They can make, say, $1 million a year in income, but they can elect to only have, say, $100,000 of that, 10% of their income, taxed into the employment system, into the Social Security system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, everybody who works a W-2, like a doctor or a nurse, or the vast majority of the United States population, can't do that. They're forced into this system. They're forced to have the money taken out of their paycheck. And then, I mean, even in our generation, we're lucky to see any Social Security, if it even exists when we go to retire, with all this money we put into it.
Yeah.
It's, and we can do a whole other podcast on that, but we are so far off topic. We're from 9/11 to tax law, but
Well, I mean, it I think all comes back to, it comes to control. I mean, I think that 9/11 was probably the most effective, what's it called? False flag that our country has ever seen. And I say most effective because a lot of people still believe in it.
for anybody watching that doesn't understand the term, what do you mean by false flag?
A situation that the government narrative has been lied to, that the government basically has lied to us, and it was a reason to get us into war.
All right, so a lie to perpetuate something that they wanted that they couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think
I
that
just
it
wanted to
was a
clarify.
reason to project us, or a reason to propel us into war.
All right.
I think that, and the reason why I say it was so effective is not only did people believe it, and I think that a lot of people believe Gulf of Tonka.
Well, most people still believe that 9/11 was a terrorist attack.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
I
that's
think
still
that,
the general population.
that's what I'm saying.
belief,
It's still effective, but it was also ineffective in the fact of, I mean, and I mean terrorist attack too, not just false flag. The most effective terrorist attack ever, because it helped unify our country. Like every other assassination or whatever, I think has really divided, or terrorist attack has divided our country in like this team versus this team, where 9/11, I think it did unify our country in a way that was beautiful, in a manner that I don't think whoever curated it intended.
No, I think
Like
that
there
was,
was
I
a
think that
very
was-
positive
I think that was the intention.
to build support for our country, bring the left and the right together.
The intention was to get everybody on the same page, which didn't matter if you were left or right. When everybody saw those planes hit that twin tower, or those twin towers, they were on the same page. Didn't matter if you were left, right, indifferent. It didn't matter. When the narrative came out that it was terrorists from this country, we were all just like, okay, let's bomb them. Let's go.
Well, yeah,
Let's put our boot in their ass. Like, I mean, Toby Keith. Was it Toby Keith?
you got to beef that out maybe, but yeah,
What?
ass. Never mind. You just have to beef that out. Again.
I don't bleep ass. I bleep
Okay.
the F word.
Ass.
Was that the song?
Yeah. Put a boot
That was
in your
Toby Keith,
ass.
right?
That's the American way. I don't know. I'm not good at those, but
Somebody in the comments could be like, "No, I wasn't."
yeah, there's a
But-
song about putting a boot in somebody's
Yeah,
ass.
well, America will put their boot in your ass. But I mean, yeah, you united the country to go to war.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, if it was a backroom deal, which a lot of it looks like it very well could have been, that was the intention, and they succeeded very well in unifying us to go to war.
But like, I don't think.
Let's look at it this way. Like, if you were the rich elite royalists that we have in our government, and you're like, we need to go to war over there. We need the opium. We need the gas or oil, whatever. How are we going to get it? If we declare war tomorrow, our country's going to be mad at us. They're not going to be behind it. So
Yeah.
how do we get everybody behind it?
But I mean, you look at like what's going on with like Ukraine. You have the left supporting Ukraine, and the right's just saying, "Leave them alone."
Well, yeah.
Now you look at like Israel, and the right is beating the war drum, and the left is leave Gaza alone. We need to support Gaza, and
yeah, but the difference with those is that those are international affairs that were not perpetuated to have a specific outcome.
What was the outcome that we were? What was the stated goal of Afghanistan?
Well, the theory behind a lot of the conspiracies with 9/11 was that they literally, the U.S. government bombed their own buildings, basically. They perpetuated the trade centers collapsing, which is why there's all these coincidences with it being the least populated day and the Pentagon hit.
No, I'm saying, yeah.
So they could go to war.
Yeah, I get that.
Whereas Russia invading Ukraine, we didn't like call Russia and be like, "Hey guys, let's work out this plan." There was no real plan. That Russia just invaded Ukraine, so it wasn't like this perpetuated thing.
No, but we decided to get involved and
right. But that's what I'm saying. The reason we weren't all on the same page like we were with 9/11 is because it wasn't some kind of tailored event to make everybody get on the same page. It was just natural occurrences that we're responding to. Well, not necessarily natural, but they're man-made occurrences that we're responding to.
I mean, that's if you take out the Biden aspect and
don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we didn't have an
talking about Russia being involved in our elections and
again, I'm not saying U.S. didn't have an influence in some of the things that happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like what a lot of people think 9/11 was, where it was literally like a completely organized by the feds to make it happen in exactly the way that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we meddle in other countries, which causes problems all the time. And I guarantee our meddling is causing problems right now.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing than literally structuring it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Or maybe we did structure something over there from start to finish, and it just didn't go the way we intended it to. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I'm just saying, like...
I don't know. There's just... I think that there's been a lot of terrorist attacks in our country that have not unified our country like 9/11.
I agree.
Like, you have, like... I don't know. I think that there's... Like,
we just recently had a terrorist attack that has united the vast majority of our country. We talked about it last week. We're not going to get into it today, but
yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that it's like a 70-30 issue.
Well, that's why I said vast majority. There's still there's.
I don't know. What do you think that percentage is? 70-30 on that?
I don't know. I mean, that's probably pretty darn close. Who knows?
Or 40-60?
I would say it's closer to 70-30 or even 80-20. I mean, the vast majority of the left knows it was wrong and agrees it was wrong.
Yeah, but I don't know that the left is necessarily turning to the right as much as just saying that that was wrong.
But what I'm saying is we're all on the same page. We're all in agreement that this should not have happened.
Yeah.
There is a very small minority
that are cheering for it.
Correct. And those are just, quite honestly,
but we had nobody that, to my knowledge, in the United States, Americans that were cheering for 9/11, though.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah. I mean, there were people in there were construction workers in New Jersey, Israelis that were cheering and dancing, and that was also a conspiracy. And I don't know where that one went, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, there might have been some U.S. citizens or green card holders that were cheering that were Muslim or whatever. I have no idea, but no, the vast majority, like 99.99% of the country, was on the same page after 9/11 that this was a tragedy. And we need to go kick someone's ass. And you're right, this one hasn't had that same effect, but it's something that the left and right have agreed on more than just about anything else we've done in the last in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't agree that it was bad, then you're just a terrible human.
I know this is a little off topic, but it's still going into terrorist attacks and whatnot, but the Vegas shooting. Like, that one is never really talked about. It's still America's...
I feel like I vaguely heard about it, but...
it's still America's deadliest mass shooting.
Oh, I know which one. That was a while ago, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I thought you were talking about something new.
But they never, yeah. Our government, again, I think that we want that information, and nobody pushes for that information as well. Like, I don't think that most people trust the official narrative on that. I mean, what was the motive? There was no motive. I don't know. I think that really a lot of these mass shootings or these shooting situations that we have are really false flags again, whether they're going to war or whatever. But I think that they are wars of, I mean, you get into the Manson family and MK Ultra. I mean, I think that a lot of these terrorist attacks that are infiltrated by one or two people are more or less MK Ultra situations and agent provocateurs are involved in our government that allow it to happen or in some way fund it or facilitate it.
A lot of what goes through our government, you have to think about. Have you seen the movie Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
Kind of a stupid movie, but kind of funny. But it kind of puts a spoof. What's the word I'm looking for? Not a spoof, but anyway, it makes fun of how everything that goes through, like, say, the federal government is seen through a particular lens.
Yeah.
And it's the lens of, is this going to look good for my reelection?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you really can't trust hardly anything that comes from the federal government because it's all been filtered through many, many people to make it the most, like, beneficial for the current administration.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it's messed up.
Yep.
It's insane. Which is why I think Don't Look Up is hilarious, because it's like, there's a meteorite coming. No, there's not.
Yeah.
Don't look at it. It's right there. I don't know.
I mean, it comes down to this pyramid. The bigger the pyramid becomes, I mean, I personally don't think that we have 50 states, to be honest with you. I mean, when I was taught in government class in,
What do you
I
mean by
think,
that?
10th grade, yeah, I'm getting to that. So I think that we need to actually get back to 50 states. When I was in government class in 10th grade, I was taught that there are 3 factors for a state. You need borders, you need government, you need population, and you need sovereignty. 4 factors. I don't think that we have sovereignty. I think that we have one state called the United States, but it is one state. Because I don't think that our states have sovereignty away from the federal government.
I mean,
we don't have secession rights.
I wouldn't say full sovereignty, no.
Well, I mean,
there is levels of freedom that the states can do that even the federal government, like, for example, recreational use marijuana, which we talked about in one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
That one also hasn't been released yet, but it's coming. You know, where
I thought that one was. That was the first one.
We have some clips out, but that one requires some pretty severe editing. Oh no, that was the first one. You're right. Yeah, that one is out. That was our first episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, where we talk about that, where it's, say, Colorado, you walk into a store and buy some weed.
Yeah.
It's federally illegal.
Yep.
Technically, if there's a federal agent standing outside, they could arrest you just for walking in that store and buying weed. And so there is some levels of state, I guess, you can't really say sovereignty, but freedom.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you don't have, I mean, my biggest thing is I think that each state should have their own currency. Especially if it,
that could get confusing, but...
Well, that's why I think it needs to get into gold. And get the states into a gold standard, so that way it's based on a weight.
I don't necessarily think we need to be carrying gold around in our pockets, but a gold standard where our bills are actually backed by physical gold like it was before Nixon
and you
took it
have
off the
gold
standard.
depositories with gold in them
that back every single
that
one
are
of your
backed
bills.
by, yeah.
I agree. That would
But
completely hem up.
That gives us our sovereignty because we don't have our federal government being able to. I mean, the biggest problem with our federal government is most of our funding comes from the federal government, and then it trickles down to the states, and the the
Through layers of
Congress
bureaucracy.
basically uses our resources or our taxes as a carrot and a stick. And that's why we have laws like 21 and under or 21 and over as a national law for drinking. Because here's your stick. You want money for roads?
Yeah.
Well, here's your road money.
You have to do this.
If you want it, because we're saying they might take these roads to go to another state, so we're mandating that you do this or you don't get your money back.
Yeah.
So we need to get our sovereignty. We need to get our ability to operate on our own, away from the federal government. And the federal government should basically ask the states for dues to be a part of the union, in a sense.
That idea just put a funny thought in my head. Because what percentage of states that are blue versus red, if we went to, just say tomorrow, snap your fingers, and all the states had to be sovereign and no longer receive federal funding,
Yeah.
which states would go bankrupt first?
Yeah. New York would be gone tomorrow.
New York, California.
Especially with Texas creating their own...
Very strong leftist states would collapse almost immediately. They received some massive federal funding last time I did any research on it, which has been a while, but I'm sure it's still very similar.
Yeah, no, and I think that that's really where we need to go. I mean, we need to get our states actually to the definition of a state and getting sovereignty from the federal government. And then once they have their sovereignty, we can be united, states, individual, but we need to be able to operate away from the federal government. And I mean, I do believe that the federal government has the duty of, hey, the state government's impeding on your constitutional rights, so we are stepping in, but I don't think that the federal government should continuously pile more laws for the states to comply with, as much as the federal government has this amount of laws, they enforce these laws, and then the states have more laws underneath that to basically curate their own style. I mean, you look at, like, if we actually had a strong federal government, reciprocity laws would be, well, across all 50 states. Not having to look at a map and saying, okay, well, I'm going to be traveling with my firearm. Which roads can I take to get to my destination without having to worry about getting put in jail for? I mean, that would be where the Second Amendment and the federal government would actually say, hey, these states are not enforcing the Constitution. But they are not. They've actually they have, in my opinion, gone against the Second Amendment, especially with the NFA laws, which I was having a conversation with somebody today about firearms and whether or not we will get SBRs and everything legalized. Because now that we're getting rid of our tax stamp for suppressors coming January 1st, it opens the door to challenging the NFA, because, again, the NFA was only able to be existing because it was a tax. Well, now they got rid of the tax, it's no longer in the government's hands. So I hope to see the...
Well, but not...
NFA
and I don't want to get too far into this topic, but you also have the federal government, branches of it, that are also now potentially, and I hope this is not true, but directly going against the First Amendment. I mean, they're with, what's his face? We were just talking about it off air that got canceled.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel.
Or Fallon Kimmel.
I don't know. One of the two.
the late night talk show guy.
Yeah.
Is it the FCC? I think it was.
I don't know if it was FCC or Disney.
They made a comment that, there's currently some things that are, we're making decisions on with Disney, and they need to really consider having him on air while we're making these decisions. That is basically saying...
Was it the FCC, though?
Well, that's what I heard. Again, this was I watched a podcast today with Shapiro, and he was talking about it.
Some people are saying it's FCC. Some people are saying that Disney took them out because
but that's what Shapiro was
contract.
speculating is who did this. Now there's the FCC literally publicly stated what I just said. I mean, I watched the clip.
I didn't hear that.
The old guy whose name I don't know, he literally said, like, we're currently evaluating things for Disney and they need to consider that. And it's like, whoa, wait a second. No. I mean, it's good that he got canceled. He was a shitbag to begin with. I didn't like his show. He was terrible. He wasn't a good person, but it shouldn't be the federal government canceling him.
Yeah.
That's freedom of speech. Now, the public canceling him because of outrage because he's being such a shitbag, that's different. The public can cancel him.
Well,
the federal government can't.
I mean,
because now we're weaponizing the FCC. That opens up floodgates for all sorts of First Amendment suppression.
No, I'm not supporting you, or I agree with you on that. But the truth is, we never really have had our Bill of Rights actually enforced. We still have, what's it called? Obscenity laws. Where, what?
So what do you mean?
Where it's illegal to use curse words.
Where?
Let's see.
I mean, I can go out in public and say "F you" to a cop's face.
What
can't do anything
state
legally
are obscenity laws still in the books?
As far as I know, there's only...
As of now, 4 states do not allow a traditional... oh, no, sorry.
Don't go reading bad information.
No, that was wrong.
But, I mean, no, we do have freedom of speech, and the freedom of speech protects you from your government. It doesn't protect you from social, repercussions. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of it. Some people want to say, oh, well, they shouldn't, these people that are getting fired for saying bad things, and they're like, oh, well, we shouldn't be able to be fired because we were just executing our freedom of speech. It's like, the company that you work for has every right to, determine the character of the people that are working for them and the things that they're saying.
So,
the government does it, though.
States with cursing and profanity laws still on the books. Virginia, until 2020, Virginia had a law making public swearing a misdemeanor with a $250 law. The General Assembly repealed it, but it shows how long these lasted. South Carolina has the oldest law. North Carolina General State 14197 prohibits the use of inciting or profane language loud enough to be heard by 2 or more people on a public highway. Courts have questioned the constitutionality of the First Amendment. Michigan had a law making it illegal to use profanity in front of women and children, but the state court struck it down unconstitutional in 2002. People versus Boomers. South Carolina has statutes against profanity in its public places, especially near churches and schools. Arizona and Mississippi have various disorderly conduct laws that explicitly mention profanity as abusive language or offensive in public. Massachusetts had blasphemy laws and profanity laws historically, though rarely enforced. Courts have limited them heavily.
Well, I'm seeing a repeating cycle there, is that the people that have challenged it and fought it, the laws have not been upheld by the courts.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a repeating cycle that the actual district courts are still upholding the Constitution.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the morons in the states decide to pass.
Yeah.
Which is the way it should be.
But the truth is
well, they shouldn't be able to pass the law in the first place, but that's another...
Yeah.
But the courts are at least doing their job.
Well, to bring it back to New York, at least, I guess, I personally think that these laws, you look at what is this guy in New York running for New York governor or city mayor right now? There's a Marxist running for governor in New York,
That
and a bunch of people.
me. But I have
are
no
worried
idea.
about him because he's talking about making like a city-owned grocery store, and yeah, it's just socialism, Marxism, just yeah.
That's worked so well historically.
Major businesses are in major fear because if he gets elected, they know that their businesses are going to fail because of how much government regulation and yeah. But with that being said,
California already saw a mass exodus of businesses.
but with that being said, these politicians really, in my opinion, I don't know how much you agree on it, but I mean, I don't think that even state house should be having so much authority that they do. I mean, just from like let's go macro into state house. State house in the state of Florida sets the state budget, which is 100, I think, in 17 or 119 billion dollars this year, somewhere around there. You have 120 state house representatives and 40 state senators.
Okay.
They work 60 days a year, and they set that state budget with approval of the governor. With that being said, they get paid $29,000 a year. That's it. So, do you think that we should have 160 individuals collectively making less than $2 million? It's probably like 1.5 million around. Have you collected all their payroll? Setting a $117 billion budget. I mean, that just seems crazy to me. And they're getting...
What's the flip side of that? What are you saying? We should pay them a crap ton more money because they're handling a crap ton more money? That would put a bigger tax burden.
Well, no, I just think that we shouldn't have so much dependence on our states. The fact that our state is responsible for $117 billion worth of resources, and the best way that we can figure out how to allocate those resources is a popularity contest.
But what's your solution?
My solution is that that a state house representative, I mean, if I were to get elected, I'm supposed to be representing 189,000 people, right?
Okay.
Those 189,000 people, really what I should be doing is being fundraising, not for my campaign, but for the projects that our community needs, for those 189,000 people. Not representing, hey, I'm going to go to the state and ask for our state to give us money to go back to my people. No, that's the same thing. Why do we have Congress and Senate to beg for our federal government to give our state money back so that way the people locally can get their money back? So I think that we should actually have our city council, our city mayors saying, hey, these are the projects in our city that we are hopefully funding. And I mean, I'm all for reducing all taxes and getting on to the voluntary aspect and pivoting towards the voluntary aspect. I mean, obviously it's not going to be a voluntary overnight, but reduce the taxes so that way, I mean, the way that we're talking about getting rid of our property taxes in the state of Florida right now is by having the counties create their own county taxes to make up for the property taxes that the property tax or the tax appraisers are creating. The counties would create their own county tax. So that would be how that would be solved. And I think that same thing with cities would create city taxes, and then eventually, hopefully we can get free to the point from our politicians that we can get to the point where, hey, politician, you want to fund a new school? Well, let's create a funding campaign. Because right now...
So let me ask you this. The property tax, where does it go now?
Property
does that
tax
go to the state or does that go to the county?
Goes to the county.
Okay, so how does changing that over to a county tax do anything? Is the money still going to the same spot?
So it's not a unrealized...
Logic.
It becomes a non-real... It changes from an unrealized gains tax, which is what property taxes are, which ultimately, having it be in the property appraiser's office, they get to pull this lever and push that button and pull that lever and do all their own mechanisms to figure out how they want to manipulate it to give them the money. So, really, in my opinion, I think that property appraisers' offices benefit. I could be wrong. I've not done the research on it, but I would say that the property appraisers' offices probably benefit the higher tax bracket properties because they get
hit harder. The higher tax bracket properties pay a much larger property income tax.
Yes, but they're appraised at a lower rate too.
Well, no, I mean,
so like if
what a lot of people in like, I've seen this on the Cape Coral boards on Facebook. You know, you have a house on a canal.
Yeah.
Let's say 3,000 square feet. You have a house right across the street, not on a canal, that's 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
This house over here is paying like 4 times as much or more in property tax than this person.
Because they're on the canal.
Because their value of their home is significantly higher.
Yeah.
But they're receiving the exact same benefits, and that's what's ticking people off. Like, why these rich people over here are upset because they're like, why am I paying 5 times as much to get the same police, the same EMS, the same firefighters? Which, from that standpoint, I understand that. But if you switch it to a county tax, it's going to be the same way because these are higher earners. They're going to get taxed on that income.
Well,
It's not
an income.
I'm trying to understand. The only reason I'm trying to understand your take on this is because I heard this pitched by people in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
Switching over to a county tax and getting rid of the property tax. And I'm vehemently against it just because of the idea that now you're taxing more of my income. Like,
no, it's not income. Income tax is completely illegal in the state of Florida. It is
so you're saying sales tax then?
Sales tax.
So raising the sales tax. So you want to be Tennessee where you have a 9.5% sales tax.
Consumer tax. So the tourists pay it.
I don't know.
If you're just saving, it's not, you can live in your house and you're not, and that's also the thing too, is when you have, have these rich people that are on the water and you own the property for long enough, the value of that home goes up significantly more than the poorer properties, but the gains on your property taxes don't actually show that until you sell that property.
Right. So I don't want to lose my thought here. Is what you just said there about tourism paying into part of that tax because of a sales tax. That sounds great. But you could also be potentially raising the tax liability for your citizens that live in the state. So my question is does this exist, or am I just coming up with something? I'm assuming it's been talked about and people have talked about it. Is there a way to make it so that way when you do file your taxes that there's a way to get a break as being a resident? Because there should be.
Well, it's a consumer tax. It would be like you pay a 6% sales tax, which I think it's going to go down to 5.5% sales tax for the state of Florida now. If I remember correctly, we dropped it by like 0.5%.
Last time I checked, it went up. I mean, it was 6 and it went to like 6.5.
Okay, so maybe it's going back down to 6, I think.
I don't know. I know it went up.
We dropped it again.
All right. But if you get rid of property tax, you're saying we're going to have to raise that.
We wouldn't raise the states. We'd have to get it in the county.
Regardless, you're going to pay more of a sales tax is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But also,
I don't know if I agree with that.
This is an interesting thing, too, is especially for the state of Florida, I'm sure Disney's probably already figured this out. But if this does happen, it really will screw Disney. Why? Because the sweetheart deal that they have with Florida right now.
I thought we got rid of that.
No, they basically are bonded.
Yeah, but don't they have to file for permits and stuff now?
No.
Because they were running their own government for a while there. But I thought...
No. That guy turned down. He couldn't. From my understanding. So, yeah. But they will not have... They don't have to pay property taxes to the county. But with that being said, they would be paying a lot for that county in sales tax as well. So Orlando or Osceola County will be balling with that because they aren't getting the tax from Disney right now.
I could have sworn they lost that.
I'm pretty sure they didn't. So, But no, I think that it really would be a good thing to get rid of property taxes. And again, property taxes, they go up whether you make money or not. I mean, your house could be decrepit. I mean, the real joke is, build a barnuminium and then just don't tell them how nice it is on the inside and then never sell it. I mean, there's so many loopholes when it comes to property taxes that you can hide so much. You make the outside look like crap and then you can negotiate it and they don't know what's on the inside. And yeah, or you can build there's a $3 million house in St. Carlos up the road from my house. I don't know, have you ever seen it? It's off of Miami, I think the thing has like a library. It's like 6,000 square feet. It's beautiful. But the house next to it's like $500 or 500 square feet. So it's just this game that ultimately makes it so that way you're always paying more for something that you don't get.
So he did win.
He did?
Well, he passed the House Bill 9B, which ended Disney's self-governing status. The bill replaced the old Reedy Creek Board with a state-controlled board. Disney loses exemptions from building, fire code, state, and regulatory approval, etc. So they do have to file for permits through the state now, or through their government. But it didn't get removed entirely because the new board, the new district that Disney now fell under, Disney apparently agreed to invest about $17 billion, and Disney gets some concessions as a result of giving a bunch of money. So they get more hotel and retail space, expansion of permitted development capacity, and some control of the building heights retained by Disney, etc. They also withdrew their federal lawsuit after the deal was passed. So apparently they filed a federal lawsuit. But he did remove many of Disney's self-governing powers and special legal carve-outs. But what replaced them still gives Disney significant privileges, with the ability to develop, expand, and build more freely, though now under more oversight. So, kind of yes and no, I guess, is the answer to that. But I could have sworn that he did pass a bill, and he did. But
so supposedly they do pay $40 million per year to Orange County schools alone in property assessments.
yeah, so they're paying something now. They lost a big portion of that deal.
Huh. But no, I think that it's actually a better idea. I
don't see the difference.
The biggest thing
other than
too,
the fact that now I'm going to be paying more when I go to buy something. Like, I think it's absolutely asinine. Like, because if I want to go buy a $70,000 truck, and you're already paying 6.5% right now, now you want me to pay 9 or 10%? Dude, that's insane. The amount of tax that I'm paying on the bill out the door is absolutely astronomical. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
All I'm doing is buying a truck. Why am I giving the government $6,000 when I go and buy a truck? It doesn't make sense.
How much do you pay in property taxes every year, though?
Like $1,500.
So every 3 years you're changing a car. If you're paying $3,000 or $6,000,
Really?
What? How often are you changing a car?
Well, I'm just saying, even if I change it every 3 years, but you're not even taking into consideration everything else. All the sodas bought, the fast food, the groceries, everything else that are being taxed. No, you're going to pay a much higher percentage. That's insanity.
I don't know. I
haven't done the math, but it just general numbers off the top of my head. I live in a normal house. I pay $1,500-$1,600 a year in property tax. That's
well,
typical.
if we are paying more, then that means that our state or that the school board and the sheriff's department needs more. It just comes out to
the sheriff's department's already bloated.
Well, what I'm saying though is it comes down to what percentage that they set the county taxes to. They could set them to a negligible point that they actually cut prices.
Yeah, when has the government done that?
I'm not saying that they are, but what I'm saying is that depends on what they set the prices to.
Yeah,
if they set it right, then you won't actually, the massive spenders, major consumers will end up spending more, and then the people that are focusing on saving and whatnot can live in their house, and once their house is paid off, all they have to pay for is insurance.
I don't know. I do not agree with raising sales tax. I already think sales tax is a massive scam to begin with.
Well,
I get it's one of the only ways that our state government can actually bring in some, or our local government can actually bring in some money. But like, I'm already taxed on it when I earned it. Why am I getting taxed on it when I spend it? I'm getting double taxed on my money. It's absolutely insane. I'm already against it. Now you want to talk about raising it? No. You.
Well, the problem too is that it's an unrealized gains tax, meaning that when inflation happens, your cost is going to go up. So
it is on sales tax too, because inflation is going to happen with the house plus a gallon of milk. You're still going to have inflation. You're still going to have rising costs. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that it would be.
I could buy an F-150 10 years ago in decent condition, brand new, for probably 30 grand.
Yeah.
A base model. Now, well, even a decent one probably. Not even a base model. Base models were probably 20 grand 10 years ago. Now, dude, there's trucks on the lot that are $115,000. You want to talk about how inflation's going to affect sales tax prices? Come on now.
Well, they're also saying getting rid of their offices would save millions as well.
Yeah, for them, not for us.
Well, no.
They're still going to charge us.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that
we're just going to have a lot more staff. We're just going to have a lot more palm trees on McGregor because we need those.
Well, no. What I'm saying is the staff that they use for the property appraiser's office, you wouldn't have to have anymore because you just have a tax.
Well, I get that, but we're not going to see that savings. The government's just going to reallocate those funds. We're not going to see those savings.
If they got rid of property appraisers' offices in Florida, how much are they proposing the citizens could save?
It wouldn't be the citizens saving it.
No. I know I heard something about Ron DeSantis talking about it. I don't know. We're talking about...
I'm just saying that we wouldn't see the savings anyway. The government would just have more money.
Yeah.
It would not trickle down. It's not trickle-down economics when it comes to government. They're just going to keep it.
We can get back on this topic another day.
Yeah, we went way off base. But...
Yeah. But the Republicans Club, which I'm a part of, is supposed to be having Jonathan Martin, who is our state senator. And I believe that he is either the sponsor or co-sponsor of that bill. So he may be able to, he's probably done more research and ran more numbers than me and you off the top of our heads can run. So
well, I guarantee you anybody for that bill is going to be like, oh yeah, it'll save the taxpayers money and we can lower the tax burden, when it's really not going to. That's what the government always says.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I don't know. I'm personally not for property taxes. I think that unrealized gains taxes are a horrible idea. I mean,
it's really not a terrible idea. It's really not a terrible idea because when you own the property, it can only raise by what, 2% or something like that. It's capped at what it can raise every year. It doesn't matter if your home value goes up $1 million. If you're still the same owner, your property tax can only increase by a small percentage.
Do you ever own it if you have property taxes though, or are you actually leasing it?
Well,
are you leasing the land?
You don't own anything in the government in America anyway, technically. Because I mean, look at what just happened to 31 Produce over off of 31. Eminent domain shut down, so they could build a fucking road for. Like, we don't own the land; we're renting it.
You know that's a joke, right?
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. I just read something about it the other day.
You know who owns that?
That's what's his face, isn't it?
Yes.
Why can't I think of his name? Say his name, because it's gonna drive me nuts.
Greenwell.
Thank you.
Yes.
So they're not actually shutting down 31 Produce?
Well, they are, but he's getting a sweetheart deal out of it.
Well, I'm sure he's making a ton of money off of it.
It's not.
But okay, let's take.
He made it into that.
The government can still
money.
do eminent domain. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't disagree. I disagree.
They've done it in Cape Coral several times. Just to build roads. I mean.
Yeah, they moved. I think like 40 houses to build veterans.
Whether there's property tax or not.
Oh yeah, no, I don't disagree.
They'll take your house and give you a chunk of cash and be like, hey, sorry, tough luck, have a good life.
Yeah, I disagree with him eminent domain, to be honest with you.
I agree 100%. I agree with you 100%. I disagree with eminent domain 100%.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Even if you take away property tax, we still don't own the land.
No, I don't disagree, but I do. I think that you should own your property.
So it wasn't a joke. Why'd you say it was a joke? It really is eminent domain.
What?
Well,
it is eminent domain, but it's a joke because he
I
made it into a business.
He made it sound like it
and
was fake, like it was.
He's getting the sweetheart deal, just like he did. He converted that from, or some of his land was converted from agricultural to commercial, and I think that was a commercial. He had, before he became a board member, he had the board approve him changing a lot of his land into commercial, so that way when it did become eminent domain, he got more tax funds than what he otherwise would have.
I gotcha.
So, because they knew that that was coming in, and yeah, check that box and we'll get double the payout. So that's why I laughed, because I actually fell for that as well when they said 31, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's Mike Greenwell. That's that was the sweetheart deal that he got.
Gotcha.
Yep. That's county commissioner that's very corrupt. But he's actually retiring.
I am kind of bummed by that, though. I did like 31 Produce, despite who the owner was. I brought the kids there to go you pick and do all sorts of fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Feed the animals.
You heard he's retiring, right?
Who?
Greenwell.
I'm sure he's got plenty of money now.
Well, he doesn't have much time to spend it.
No?
He just stepped down. Well, he just missed his first meeting, county commissioner meeting. I believe he's got stage 4 bone cancer.
Ooh.
So,
I don't care how corrupt you are. Nobody deserves that.
yeah. I don't know that, yeah. I don't know. I think unfortunately that, I don't know. I want no bad juju. I like to live a very peaceful life, and I think that he's probably lived a very stressful life that was due to his own volition.
Maybe. I don't know enough about it to comment, but
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to die from cancer. I've seen it very firsthand. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I mean, I
but
wouldn't wish.
from
that
my
on the worst
understanding,
enemy.
he's stepping down, and there's hopes and talks that Amanda Cochran's going to get appointed out there hopefully soon
Gotcha.
in the next couple months. So Lee County, in my opinion, will have a much better seat on the county commissioners board.
Gotcha.
But yeah, back to 9/11.
We got a little bit off base there.
No, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't believe that. I don't believe the official story. I definitely wish that Trump would just say, here's everything. I believe that the 9/11 Commission was
Yeah, but
a joke.
Is that even the best course of action? I mean, even if all right, so let's say even if Trump had the files on his desk, all right. Now, I am all for transparency, don't get me wrong, but what would that do to the nation? Like, as far as, I don't know, I mean...
I think that people need to, unfortunately, start taking the red pill and understand that we really aren't safe. Like, we need to understand that the signature, how many people still believe that signing on a check gets checked every time, or signing on a credit card gets checked every time?
There is no signing on credit cards anymore. It's just beep.
Well, I mean, if they don't have beep, but a lot of people still believe that signing, like, you could make a smiley face and your credit card would get approved.
Oh, yeah, I used
But
to
a
do
lot
that.
of people still believe that if I don't write it pretty correct, they're gonna deny it. And
I used to sign Peter Griffin.
we
all the
have
time.
so many false senses of securities that people are falling for that it's sad. People are conned by these things, and we need to actually
the purpose,
have our population be educated.
the purpose of the signature actually did serve some sort of a purpose with credit cards, because if you disputed it, they could pull that transaction and see the signature, and if it wasn't yours, it proved that it wasn't your transaction. So there was a purpose to it. It wouldn't deny it at the register, but you could fight it easier on the backside. And honestly, I think banks went away from doing the signatures on credit cards because it made them have to pay for the losses, because there was proof that it wasn't the person buying it. And then there's probably people scamming it, like me signing Peter Griffin. There's probably people doing stuff like that and then disputing it.
Well, half the time too, you have cameras on all these things too.
Well, and then
so...
that's cost. Then they have to hire an investigation team. The investigation team has to go to the business, has to get the video. It became a cost. So I think that's why they actually did away with signatures, because it saves the banks money.
No, the banks automatically, when it came to that, the businesses were under agreement that they were lent the money, and if there was a dispute, the money automatically got withdrawn from their account, and then if the business wanted to accept the money, they'd have to prove that the check was signed by that person, and that's why you have cameras on checkouts and stuff like that, for the merchants' protection, not for the banks.
That doesn't always work. When I worked for the corporation years and years and years ago, we had a customer that came in and bought quite like $4,000 worth of stuff, TV, surround sound system, all that stuff. They did not sign on the invoice, and they disputed their transaction with Amex. There's video footage of them in the store buying the product, and we still got hit with the kickback from Amex.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that, but it was the store that was actually taking the hit. It wasn't the banks.
No,
banks
right.
never took the hit.
You're right. In that example, the store took the hit. You're right.
Yeah, it was never the banks. The banks would never.
We had video proof.
Yeah.
Literal video proof that they were in our store. Like, you could see their face, and yet we still lost the case in Amex. And I'm assuming the corporation just figured it wasn't worth the attorney's fees to try and fight it for $4,000.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I think that we need to stop lying to people about how safe we are. I mean, you look at the stabbing in that subway in North Carolina the other day. I mean, we need to not be sketched out or whatever, but I think that we should start to encourage people to not live in cities and spread out into populations. So, and
to your point, you're saying if 9/11 was a big inside job perpetuated by the government or something similar to that nature, that it should all just be released to increase awareness that the government really is not there to protect us.
Yeah. Same thing with the JFK files. I mean,
I could maybe follow
if we know that the FBI killed JFK, I mean, I think a lot of people already are ready to get rid of the FBI, especially before Cash and Dan Bongino, and they kind of said, okay, well, we'll hear you out, and they're back on the bandwagon of let's get rid of the FBI right now. But, I mean, I think that we need to start acknowledging that there's a lot of bloat and a lot of inefficiencies. There may be great technologies that we don't know about, but the bloat actually makes those technologies very inefficient. I mean, if we utilize the technologies in an efficient manner, it'd be one thing, but government isn't efficient at using the technologies in which they hold, if they actually do hold these technologies that are 10 years in advance. I mean, use the technology at least.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I think that we need to start becoming independent, and stop relying on government welfares and stuff like that, and get more people having chickens in their backyard. One of the bills that I'm going to be flooring if I get elected is going to be chickens, backyard chickens, as a constitution or as a state right in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Maybe leave out roosters.
Yeah,
we don't need roosters.
I'm looking at 8 is the number.
Hens.
8 hens per property.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
It helps with 4-H. 4-H is the maximum you can have 8 hens for 4-H.
There does need to be some stipulations as far as how they keep them and stuff like that. But it's out in Lehigh. I mean, there's houses that just have chickens running all over the place. I mean, I almost hit one going down the road the other day. Literally, like a chicken just running across the road. It's like, dude, why is it not?
Oh,
wow. I don't care if you have chickens, just put it in a coop. But
yeah, no, I don't disagree.
There's people that just leave them run. I mean, it's just like, come on, man.
But then you're talking about regulation, and then you need more government to then chase down and track down all these chickens. And
well, no, you leave it to the community. I mean, if the neighbor has chickens running free and the neighbors don't care, then why should the government care?
Okay, but what are you going to do? You're going to call the cops or domestic animal services or...
Sure, animal services. Why not?
They already, but then they send the cops because domestic animal services is already bloated, so...
When you pass the bill to have chickens, there's going to have to be stipulations regardless. You can't just pass it and say, you can do whatever you want with them.
Well, no, you have 8 chickens, period. That would be the only regulation. The property thing, yes, it'd be nice to keep it on your property, but right now we have domestic animal services doesn't go after domestic animals. Most of the time it's our Lee County Sheriff's Department goes after snakes and pigs, whether they're domestic or feral, and so we're going to spend more resources on law enforcement doing a job that they aren't actually qualified to do, but are doing anyways because domestic animal services can't do it, and we're creating more bloat for more government. No, the job is to get rid of government. Hit the damn chicken if it's in the road. Like, they lost a chicken. They lost some eggs. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah. I'm not for adding more regulations onto it. You get 8 chickens and, yeah, that's it.
Saying that they have to be in a coop is a pretty simple one. I mean, that's pretty basic animal care.
Well, but what do you
say? That's as animal husbandry. It's just basic.
But do you not let them out during the day?
I mean, if you have a fenced area, don't let them
chickens
run free.
can jump over fences, and now you're talking about.
There's gonna be things that happen. That's life. But I'm just saying. It's
no,
like,
you can't.
Out in Lehigh, I mean, there's dogs running like free all over the place. It's absolute insanity out there.
Yeah.
And people just don't take care of their animals.
You get into the point of, I mean,
it's not good stewardship to the animals.
No, I don't disagree. It's not ethical. I'm not saying it's humane or ethical, or I'm not. I'm not. But the problem is again, we're talking about laws, we're talking about morals, we're talking about trying to create more regulation, more government. It's a failure.
It's kind
government is the least efficient. Figure out a private.
It's kind of like having the leash law. I mean, I get that's a little different than obviously chickens running free, but like you need to have the leash law. You're saying just get rid of that too? I mean, different topic a little bit, but I mean, out in Lehigh, you literally have. I mean, there's that one kid that got mauled by some guy who let their dog run free.
Most of these dogs aren't microchipped. Now, if you get a dog from the pound, they're microchipped. But are you going to make every dog that gets sold in the county to get microchipped? And then what about backyard breeders? Are you going to make sure that anybody that has a dog that is getting bred is going?
No,
vet?
But I'm simply just talking about a leash law, which helps protect children. It helps protect other pets.
But what I'm saying is if a dog gets loose or a random person, I mean, how many people?
Well, that's what's going to happen. There's obviously exceptions to everything, even no matter what laws you have.
Well, I'm saying these dogs that are getting
a leash law is still a good law. I agree with that one because it's insanity.
It's a good moral. I'm not disagreeing, but morals are relative. They're not universal, and not everybody is going to agree with you on their morals. So again, the reason why I'm wanting to do the chicken law is because it's taking away government. Government currently says you can't have chickens in the county at all.
I agree with being able to have
So you need to repeal government, not add more regulations to then add government to.
But you're still putting a regulation on. You're saying 8 chickens. Why don't you just say as many as you want?
Well, because unfortunately you have to put some kind of standard.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is a coop is just a standard.
Well, the coop aspect is.
It's just a standard, dude. Because if you don't put 8 on it, what's going to happen? There's going to be people out there with 100 chickens running all over the place. It's going to be fucking insanity. That's why you want to put 8.
Well, I don't want to put 8. I really don't want to put 8.
But you have to.
I have to
people
because
take advantage of things.
Well, I have to because I wouldn't get people to vote for it.
I think you probably need to put a coop on there too.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. Well, I don't want free roaming chickens all over the place. This isn't friggin' a third world country with just chickens running all over the place.
Well, the problem with coops, have you ever had chickens?
No, but I know people with them, and I mean, there's plenty of farmers in my family that have chickens.
Okay, so coops are a politician I have a whole lot of respect for, and I think is probably one of the most noble politicians we have right now is Thomas Massie.
Okay.
Thomas Massie has a chicken coop. He has what you would say is perfect, where it is a fully self-contained coop.
Okay.
And the coop has a winch on the front of it, and he originally did it with batteries, and then he created capacitors rather than batteries because batteries just didn't hold a charge, and he has solar panels. And what he does is he ties the winch up to a post, and it drags the chicken coop throughout the yard. and that allows the chickens to peck at the ground and get the bugs underneath them and not get attacked by coyotes or any vultures or whatever. But it also stops them, their poop gets collected in one spot as well. So you get a huge amount of nitrate that also can make it flammable over time because you get all this nitrate buildup from poop. So you have to get you have to spread the manure. It just becomes a heavy bioload. Chickens will poop into their own water, or they'll poop in their own water. So it's better to let your chickens roam. They also can get way more sick because they're stuck in what do you want, like a 10 by 10 box? Like, it's not very, they stay in one spot. It's not very good for them as well. You want to have them get sun and whatnot. So
I don't just mean put them in a box. I mean, most of the coops that I've ever seen, you have like basically a big fenced, chicken wire.
Yeah.
Why we call it chicken wire, wrapped all the way around the thing, and on top to keep birds and like you said.
Yeah. So like a friend of mine.
And then they have like a bird house inside of that enclosure so they can come out of it, they can get sun, they can go in it when it's raining. Like,
yeah. So most of the time, like I have a friend who has a chicken coop out in Buckingham, and she has like 12 chickens, 2.5 acres. I think her coop's probably 10 by 12, if I had to guess. There's like a main area for
that
like
sounds small for that many chickens. I don't know. I just a thought.
So you want an area for them to perch and be able to lay the eggs, and then you have an area for them to be able to have their food and water and have protection, but not necessarily where they like coop and stuff like that. And then she now has a auto timer where it'll open a gate during sunrise and sunset, so that way they can go out and forage during the day, and then they actually hop up and put themselves to bed.
Right.
Which is actually kind of cool. I didn't realize that
chickens are pretty good about knowing their space, but
I didn't know that they returned home.
Yeah.
Like, did they, return themselves. But, but it's way better for them to be able to have area to peck and get the bugs throughout the ground. And it's also better, if you can, like I said, to have it dragged because of all the ammonia. You're having to dig out all that poop, and it just gets built up really quickly in a chicken coop. And if they're just in that one coop and they're not able to poop throughout the yard, it builds up way faster. So then sickness.
I'd have to ask my friend. They got a coop out in Hendry County. They've got 5 or 6 chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a rooster too, but they're in zoned ag, and they mostly just have the rooster to protect the chicken. They've lost quite a few chickens to coons and all sorts of stuff that tries to break in.
Yeah, typically you want.
We are way off topic.
Yeah. 9/11.
Again.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we're kind of done with 9/11. I mean,
yeah,
I think that there are plenty of conspiracies. I think that there are more strings that just don't go anywhere, that don't actually make sense to the true narrative with 9/11. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe the official story. I don't think you do.
No. Not entirely.
I think that there is some conspiracy, whether it's the Building 7, whether it's Pentagon building, whether it's the Twin Towers, whether all of them are not true, whether one of the aspects are not true. I mean, the facts are it led us into a war that we did not win.
Well, and also what we talked about earlier, that all of what we got told got filtered through the administration. Like we talked about earlier, everything gets filtered through that lens of the administration.
Yeah.
So yeah, what they told us is definitely not 100% true. It's just a matter of whether it's 0% true, 10% true, 50%. How much of it did they cover up? How much of it did they hide? How much of it is fake?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know that we can really. I mean, there's plenty of like way more in depth than we can probably do with 9/11. That way more educated people on like pilots, firefighters, metallurgies, engineers. We're not engineers.
Well, no, we're just two guys talking in the garage. I mean, we could get
Yeah.
into. I mean, we could even pull that stuff up on the computer. There was talks about the flight path and how the plane made a really a difficult turn in order to hit exactly in the spot on the Pentagon. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could get into. We're not the experts in that field. We're just giving our opinion.
Yeah, I think that there's plenty of stuff that I think that we definitively can say that 9/11 is not the official story. It is a tragedy how many people died.
That was awful.
People did die. It wasn't fake.
So what grade were we in when that happened?
I was in 7th, I think. I was in middle school. You might have been
Well, it was definitely middle school.
Okay, so you were in like 8th then probably?
7th or 8th, I don't remember. I remember I was sitting in religion class
Yeah.
when the teacher actually put it on the TV, and we were all just like, what?
I remember being in like, I feel like for some reason we went in the cafeteria. Like, I don't think it was lunchtime, but I feel like my classroom went into the cafeteria and we had all the TVs on in the cafeteria.
Our school did kind of like a lockdown, like not like a full lockdown. It wasn't like, a school shooter type lockdown, but it was whatever class you're in, you're staying there for right now.
Yeah.
We just weren't leaving classrooms. Everybody was staying in their classrooms. And
yeah, I feel like maybe we went to like the cafeteria just because it was easier, as like we can get people in here, and then parents were calling and collecting their kids as well, so maybe it was like a staging area.
I think some of that happened too, yeah.
So, but yeah, no,
that was surreal.
It led to well, I guess we can stay on the topic of 9/11 with TSA.
What about TSA?
Well, that didn't exist before 9/11.
TSA didn't exist before 9/11?
No.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
Yeah, TSA didn't exist before 9/11.
Huh.
It was all private security.
Did not.
Yep. And then the Patriot Act.
The more you know.
Yep. We definitely should never sign the Patriot Act. Definitely not patriotic. It's patriotic is willing to go against your country.
Yeah.
When it is tyrannical. And the Patriot Act is tyrannical. Spying on American people.
Yeah.
Un-American.
CIA.
Yep. So, yeah. Do you think, what are your opinions on TSA? Have you had good experiences, bad experiences with TSA?
Neither.
No?
It's just neutral, really. I don't really have anything bad. I don't have anything good to say about them. I mean, it's frustrating that I can't take, a bottle of shampoo on a fucking airplane, but, it is.
I think they're the biggest joke. I mean, there's YouTube videos.
I can't say how they're effective they are. I'm just saying I haven't really had any bad experiences with them.
Well, so I'll tell you I've had a few experiences with them. I'll tell you before I get into anecdotal. There are videos talking about, I mean, you know how dangerous lithium ion is, right?
Yeah, the batteries, yeah.
Batteries, laptops. I mean, you have these kids now getting all these laptops, and they're putting their putting a paperclip in the USB charger and sparking them and catching them on fire.
Jeez.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's bad. Dangers of giving these kids in public schools laptops. I'm totally against it.
I'm against laptops in schools too, but for a completely different reason.
Yeah. But needless to say, yeah, lithium-ion batteries are very dangerous. A puncture can, I mean, cell phones, I forget which phone it was not allowed on airplanes because of how flammable they were.
Yeah, they had a messed up battery defect.
So you can get lithium-ion batteries past TSA as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a guy that shows you can buy these different chemicals past TSA and create these different weapons.
But you actually have to bring them through carry-on. You can't check them.
Yeah.
It's like my e-cig. It has those batteries in it. I can't put this in my check bag because of these. It has to go in my carry-on.
So with that being said, TSA, yes, you may get like the canines that'll smell marijuana or something like that, but I'm pretty sure that with these scanners and stuff like that, that there's enough to be able to hide and disguise the smell of marijuana flower, but also the oil I don't think even has enough of a smell for the dogs to smell. When it comes to bringing marijuana onto planes.
I don't know. We could probably do a whole other podcast on TSA though.
Yeah. I've personally been, my anecdotal experience was I flew out of RSW. This is many years ago, probably 10 years ago. I did a really cool project with the University of Maryland and flew out there. At the time, my car was in the shop. I was doing armed security for a living. And this is like 2011, 2012 probably. We were having a lot of robberies of air conditioners at the time. And I was carrying my OC. And being on the motorcycle, I was wearing my leather jacket, and it was cold at the time. It was like
told me
winter.
about this at one point.
And I had my can of OC on me. And I had the inner liner on, so it was pretty thick.
Clarify what that is.
So you have a leather jacket, and then you have like another jacket inside the jacket. So that way, when it's really cold, it's not just an abrasive.
I'm talking about the can of OC.
OC is chemical pepper spray. It's not a natural pepper spray. Pepper spray is based on pepper.
Capsaicin, yeah.
Where OC is a chemical compound, synthetic pepper spray. So I had OC, and the OC was a higher Scoville rating than even the police in Maryland were able to have. But I flew out of RSW. I had this on me in the airplane. Like, I'm pretty sure I had it on the airplane, which would have been bad, because you're talking about, like, recirculated air. Like, that's worst case scenario in my opinion. That's why like guns in my opinion or in most cases a gun in an airplane is actually not as dangerous as some of these lithium ion batteries as well, because like a bullet hole is not actually going to have the airplane implode or explode. It's, yes, you're going to have problems breathing because you're having recirculating air, but the recirculating air is more of the danger. You have a fire or OC, well, everybody's breathing that same air. Same thing with COVID. The masks work. Put your mask on during COVID. Let's get into that now. But needless to say, there's major dangers with having OC on an airplane as well. And I flew out with it on me, and then I came back, and TSA checked and saw it on me and flagged it. And then I got stopped by the police, and the police is trying to get TSA's attention to just throw it away, because I'm like, I don't care about it. Like, I'll just go back and get another one. Let me just catch my plane. I'm not trying to, yeah. So I had my concealed carry license. I had my armed security license. I had my unarmed security license. I'm like, I just came up here. Like, this is ridiculous. Please throw it away. The judge illegally made me donate money to the Wounded Warriors Foundation because it was the charity of her choice, which I don't understand how that works, because I'm pretty sure that's not how that works, but
it is in there in that courtroom.
Yeah, and then I had to hire an attorney because I'm not going to fly to Maryland just for a stupid court case over trying to bring pepper spray or OC on a plane that I did not intend on doing. I would have thrown it away before the damn checkpoint. Like, I'm not that stupid.
Well, you are that, so you did it.
Well, if I knew that I had it on me, I'm not a terrorist.
You were telling me about to check your damn pockets.
But yeah, so
I have to do that with my backpack and everything, because I take that camping and stuff. So I have my knives and all that kind of stuff packed in there. And so when I go flying, I take the same backpack. I got to make sure I go through all my pockets.
So I had that situation, and it was just ridiculous. I think I spent like $150 on a lawyer, $250 on a lawyer, something stupid.
That's not bad for a lawyer, but.
And then $100 to the Wounded Warriors Foundation because of stupid misunderstanding. And then I flew from, because of my prosthetic, I've had x-rays where they do like a x-ray, like a cast x-ray, which is kind of cool, where they wanted to x-ray my leg. And that was okay. It wasn't a big deal for me.
Right.
Being disabled, it is more of a pain in the butt with pat downs. They always want to use like the pads and wipe my foot and wipe my body and check for explosive GSR and gunshot residue or whatever. And when I left, I think I was in Washington once, a guy brought me into the back room to make me pull down my pants and show him my prosthetic. I'm like, just feel the damn thing. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm going to miss my flight. Like, no, TSA is a joke. Just like any government entity, they are unaccountable. So if they didn't miss it, or if they missed something, there was no accountability. So what's the point of even having it?
Yeah, but
and
you got to have some security to get on planes. Now, if you're advocating,
we used to have private
I was about to say,
security.
if you're advocating to make it private security, that's one thing. I could maybe field that, but there's got to be some sort of security. I mean, there's a lot of lives getting on that plane, and you want to feel safe getting on the plane. I mean, even if it's a false sense in a small way.
Well, that's what it is. It is a false sense
It's not
security.
completely a false sense, because there are metal detectors, there are body detectors. I mean, sure, if somebody wants to make a plastic gun, maybe they can get it on there.
Well, like I said,
But,
before 9/11,
it does limit things, and it does create a barrier of entry
yeah,
to doing something wrong.
before 9/11, I don't know if, let me see. Before 9/11, did most airports have metal detectors? Nearly all commercial airports exist. Nearly all U.S. commercial airports already had metal detectors and X-ray machines for passenger screening,
Right.
but not all. But they were all privately contracted, which again, when it comes to private,
What happened to that industry? Did it just collapse because TSA took over? I'm confused. Or did TSA subsume them?
so there are certain, so like RSW is TSA, but what is it? Allegiant Air out of Page Field.
Yep.
That one is actually private security.
Legion flies out of Page Field?
No, they're not Page Field.
Punta Gorda.
Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say Page Field?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, out of Punta Gorda. They're private security.
Are they? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I've flown out of there numerous times. I just never paid attention. I just know it's security. I'm going through metal detectors.
But again, like, because it's security, you're having bids, you're having competition, which typically, well, competition, that's called capitalism. When you bring competition in, as long as you're not getting your friend the contract, that's called cronyism, or crony capitalism. But you'll get better security for a better price, rather than the government forcing these security companies to do this. And again, I only think that it was another way for government to funnel money through and get rid of private sector. So, I mean, I would lean on the side of, if there was private security at the New York airport, maybe there was a head turned on that aspect. I mean, where was the box cutter? Why, if there was private security there, what did the private security get reprimanded for letting that box cutter? I mean, those are questions that we didn't get answered,
Yeah.
and we should actually get answered. So we are bringing it back to 9/11 of, before TSA, there was a security company that that was securing that airport, more than likely, and were they held accountable? And where are they today? Because they are culpable, because there was a box cutter that was let onto that plane. I don't know if it was just box cutters or, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we also have, I don't know how often we have these, what are they?
I don't know where you're going.
The people that fly on planes that are
Oh, marshals.
marshals. We've always had U.S. Marshals on planes as well.
Randomly, yeah.
Randomly. I don't know how often they are, but I personally think that it would be a better allocation of resources rather than having TSA to have more marshals on planes. I mean, imagine having 2 or 3 plainclothes persons on every plane. It's less than we have in TSA.
Well, maybe not. I don't. There's a lot of planes flying a lot of places. You'd have to do the math on that. That'd be a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how many
know.
hours of work that would be. That would
You know,
be a
one
lot.
thing that I did just recently learn that I think is pretty awesome about aviation. Do you know that English is supreme? It is the supreme language of the of the world
For aviation.
for aviation.
It makes sense because
It
you're
does.
flying international. I'm not saying it necessarily makes sense that it's English, but it makes sense that it's
That there is one.
There's one, yeah.
Yeah. But English is aviation's universal language.
That's cool.
Every aviation pilot has to learn English to fly internationally. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Near to that.
So, and when it comes to,
I got a buddy who's a pilot too.
yeah, my friend Shane, who's a pilot, he's the one who told me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I thought that was really cool, and it's even better of reason why. I mean, Florida has a state language of English, but another reason why we should actually make a national language of English, because not only are all of our state stop signs, all of our signage in English, and it would be, in my opinion, a gross abuse of resources to make multilingual signs to placate to a always changing demographic for
Yeah,
street signs.
that would be a pretty big cost. I mean, I know a lot of other countries do that. Like
Multilingual?
in Europe, yeah, they have signs with multiple languages.
Stop and...
But those are countries that, you know, the country is the size of one of our states, and they're bordered up against other countries with different languages, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of inter-travel.
Yeah.
But let's wrap this back up to 9/11 and.
So what are your thoughts on TSA? Do you think that it would be better to, or do you like government having like a
Honestly,
centralized...
I haven't thought enough about it to really have an opinion, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, a private sector security, I think, would be fine, but you'd have to have regulations on how the private sector actually operates it. I mean, because otherwise, like you said, I mean, you could just have somebody pay somebody in the back. I mean, I guess you could do that with TSA too. And there's always going to be corruption. You can't stop all of that.
The FDA
But
has never taken bribes?
Again, you're never going to stop corruption, but I mean, if you just leave it in the private sector's hands, you're trusting that these people that have no guidelines, no rails to stay within, are going to do the right thing. And
But they actually have accountability, where
But do
government
they?
doesn't.
I mean, look at a lot of our big corporations out there. They do not have accountability.
Well, that's going back to our conversation that will come out later about regulations and publicly traded companies.
Yeah.
Because again, if they weren't publicly traded companies and LLCs and going into copyrights and all that stuff, which we get into in another podcast, then they would actually be accountable. Which I did find out that there are federal laws that hold corporations accountable for federally, but states do not hold. I'd need to learn more about it, but there are laws that allow the federal government to hold major corporations, CEOs, CFOs, and their board accountable for liability for criminal actions, where the states typically do not actually have laws holding CEOs accountable for criminal liabilities. So that is something that I'm trying to learn into, because I think that is important. Like, if we are going to have publicly traded companies, at least the CEO somebody should go to jail for negligence or gross negligence, or
that's kind of the funny part is, I mean, if you're talking about like, the smaller corporations, the 10 to 100 million type corporations, they're going to go to jail for negligence. But you start talking about the big ones like Bank of America CEO and stuff like that, they got the money to throw around and the lawyers to gum everything up. I mean, it's just it's a mess. It's like, look at I mean, we do need to wrap up, but you look at the housing crash of '08. Nobody really got in any trouble. There was a smaller bank guy that got in a crap ton of trouble, and he was like the only fall guy. It's like, what about all these other corporations that fed into this and helped cause this problem? I mean, we're looking at another one, but that's a whole other topic. But I mean, bringing it back around to 9/11, there's a ton of conspiracy theories. They seem to get wilder as time goes on. But I think one thing that most people could probably agree on is that we're not being told the whole story. Most people, I think, can agree on that. Whether, like I said, I don't know the percentage of what it is, but we're not hearing everything.
I just think that we need to get back to we the people. And if we're going to be back to we the people, I mean, we need transparency. We need to be able to trust our government.
And we're never going to make it back to we the people until we can unite.
And we need to be able to trust our country, our government.
That'll probably never happen. But
I don't know. I mean, that's my biggest concern is I mean, either we get to the point where we...
Like when you're driving down the road and you see a cop, does it make you think differently than when you were driving down the road without a cop nearby?
In Lee County with Carmine Marcino as our lead sheriff, no.
I feel less safe when the cop's nearby. If I'm being honest, I feel like I'm just going to get targeted for something because I didn't turn on my turn signal, or I'm just going to get targeted to get a ticket for something. That's the way I feel. It's just like, it doesn't bring me a sense of relief. Oh, there's a cop there. That's good.
Well,
it's more like, oh, there's a cop there. Shit, am I doing anything wrong? Well, even though I'm not. I'm just driving down the road.
Maybe our next podcast that we'll get into law enforcement and spirit of the law versus the letter of the law, and we get into the nuances of different day-to-day.
We'll probably do one of those. I wouldn't call it our next podcast because we got a couple that we got to release still, but yeah.
But we can get into the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, because I really think that is really where the divide between public relations and trust in law enforcement itself exists. But I mean, trusting that Congress is trying to spend our money responsibly, or trusting that the FBI is really trying to get the true facts, and it's not just, hey, we have this kid that's 22 years old, and he's willing to admit to it, so we'll just put a bow on it because it makes the work look, or it makes our job easier, and we can just close the book, and people think that everything's easy.
In some of those cases, and this one might be one of those cases, there's such a massive public outcry that, let's say you're the FBI guy and you're making the decision to, you're going to publicly say, okay, this guy, especially if you have definitive proof that it was him that pulled the trigger, for example.
You're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. Circling back. Yeah.
You're going to focus your attention on this kid and the fact that you got him, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not over here going, who was he working with, and trying to figure it out. Because what you're trying to do there is, all you're trying to do is placate the public for a time being,
Yeah.
while you still investigate the background, which is what I hope is happening.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if I was in charge of that,
but
you have this massive public outcry that could cause massive civil unrest. So yes, when you got this guy and you know you've got, or at least you're pretty darn certain you've got the guy, you're going to make that the public face of, I've got this guy, this is the guy, and I'm going to go, okay, to my staff, I'm going to be like, we're not done. I don't know what they're actually doing, but I'm saying this is the way I would handle it. Because you can't just come out and say, yeah, we got this guy, but he's got a bunch of other people working with him, and we don't know who they are yet. Because that's still going to cause panic. Nobody's going to be okay with it.
See, I just saw something about, going back to the Charlie Kirk thing, I just saw a video of him stopping by the local Dairy Queen after the shooting.
Who, the 22-year-old?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Charlie Kirk. I'm like, no.
No, the 22-year-old. The 22-year-old stopped at a Dairy Queen on his way between dropping off the gun, getting his car. I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't making sense.
Yeah, but
and
the dad turning the kid in, come on. Like,
what?
It takes a lot for a parent to do something like that to their kid. Most parents would.
I'm not saying that he's not even the kid that's on the video. I'm just saying that at this point, I'm not thinking that the trigger was being pulled by him.
We're getting off topic again. We need to wrap up. But I do want to say that what's going to be really interesting going forward with anything like this, doesn't even matter what crime it is, any type of nasty crime, the factors that AI are playing in it. And what I mean by that is, I was reading through Facebook posts, and I get stuck in these little things, and I'll end up scrolling through the comment section, which is just, it makes you lose a lot of hope in humanity sometimes, reading through the comment sections on social media. But there's the video that was superimposed by AI, or the image that was superimposed by AI. So there's the image of the kid going up the stairs, right, with the hat on.
Yeah.
It's a blurry image. The security cameras at that facility are not, 1080p or whatever. They're just kind of garbage.
Yeah.
There's an image that's going around the internet that AI cleaned up the image, and the kid looks completely different than who got arrested. And there's people, posting this picture like it's the real picture and going, there's no way this was the kid. Look at this. The cheekbones are different. The chin's different. It's like, people don't understand. And AI is going to muddy the waters. And it's going to be interesting to see what
and that's why I think that really it's more crucial than ever that especially the federal government starts to relinquish its cloak of control. Because, whether it's an AI, I bring it up all the time. Same thing with TSA. It all comes down to government can't keep us safe. They really can't.
No.
It is a false sense of security, and we need to start getting rid of cities. We need to stop centralizing people. We need to start becoming more self-sufficient and independent and start learning how to function on our own. Because, I wouldn't be going on a subway without looking both ways. Yes, some people will be goldfish brain, and some people, unfortunately, are forced to be in those circumstances.
Well, I was about to say, but when it's your daily routine, it becomes a different thing. When you do the same thing every day because that's what you're doing to get to work or get home from work, it just becomes a thing. You know what I mean? And you kind of zone out. It's kind of like when you drive home, or me, sometimes I'll be driving home from work, and it's like a 45-minute drive, and it feels like it was 5 or 10 minutes because you
can't even remember what route you took.
Because your subconscious basically did everything
autopilot.
For you. Yeah, you're just basically on autopilot, and that's kind of what happens in those subway situations too. Which
but I think that we keep on increasing population density everywhere. Our society becomes keeps on becoming more and more transient. People want to travel internationally. They want to travel across the United States. I want to live in Florida today. I want to live in Tennessee tomorrow. People don't build community. And with that being said, if you don't have community, you're not going to have shared morals. You can try to build all these laws forcing these morals onto people, but you're never going to be able to do that functionally with a government, especially with how efficient it is, and it will never become efficient. The bigger it becomes, the less efficient it is. So the only answer is to become less reliant on government, whether it's TSA, whether it's whatever. Stop going into massive buildings like Twin Towers. Stop living in massive buildings and stop making yourself a target. Like going back to the Charlie Kirk thing. A lot of people are worried about going to that because it's going to be a big spectacle with high prominent figures there, whether it's a president or whether it's, it makes it a target.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing with, the Charlie Kirk shooting. It was a shooting at a gun-free zone. Oh, go figure.
And I see a lot of those comments where they're like, oh yeah, we need stricter gun laws. It's like, the person who perpetrated this obviously wasn't following gun laws in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
What do you think? You think a gun law was going to stop him? He was in a gun-free zone and had a gun. Like, come on, guys, let's use some logic here.
Maybe the idea isn't that we have such high security on planes as much as we just don't put so many people on planes. We make smaller planes and don't put so many people on them. Yes, it's an argument of efficiency, but hell, like I've had maybe a topic that we'll get into later is open carry in Florida, because that's going to be a new thing that we're going to have.
Are they passing open carry? I would love to see open carry in Florida.
You didn't hear?
No.
So the first district court, I think, state court, ruled that open carry is that a law against open carry is unconstitutional in the state of Florida.
Oh.
So a lot of sheriffs are now saying they're not going to enforce it. I don't know. There's still time for that to be appealed, but because of how much support that the governor has had and everything else, it's likely that we will see open carry in the state of Florida, which is awesome.
That would be awesome, yeah.
So, and it comes into the debate.
We already have a very basic version of open carry for hunting, fishing, and camping.
Yeah. But with that being said, it goes into the topic of, is it smart to open carry?
Depends on where you're going.
Well, we'll get into this topic, and I'm not trying to go into it. I'm putting a barrier there.
Yeah, we're already 2.5 hours in, I think.
But
oh God, we're almost 3 hours in.
But with that being said, I think that it's good to open carry to some extent, because most of the time when you're in a grocery store or if you're at a gas station or whatever, most of these criminals are not, even if they have a gun, they're not wanting to use it. They're not willing to, hey, I'm going to kill somebody so I can steal this $1,000 out of this register. It's not going to happen. Realistically, you having a gun is going to stop that person from trying to do that petty theft. Now, it's not going to stop that psychopath that just is off their meds or psychotic from doing a psychotic thing. And yes, that psychotic person may target you because you have that gun. So you have to accept that, but open carrying in a lot of sense may actually deter. If you had a plane...
It definitely could.
If you had a plane with 100 people on it and 99% of them had a gun and you were concealing and planning on hijacking that plane, well, guess what?
Yeah, there's an argument. There's an argument to be made there.
So
we wouldn't know the true outcome of what that would be until we did it, and I don't know, but
it's the same argument as
I will say
of nukes aimed at why do we have so many nukes? Well, self-assured destruction. It's the same idea.
Yeah.
If we have enough guns, encourage everybody to have guns, encourage everybody to be self-sufficient, and if we can get things cheaper from China or other countries because whatever, awesome. But it's in our own country's best interest that people know how to disassemble their own guns. They know how to load their own ammo. They know how to raise their own chickens. They know how to collect their own honey. They know how to deal with whatever. How to take care of themselves.
You know, I gotta say from personal experience, the first time I saw open carry was in Kentucky, because I lived in Florida pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And so when I lived in Kentucky, some guy came in and he had a leather holster on his hip with a Kimber. Awesome gun. But it caught me off guard because I'm just like, this dude they have open carry there. And I've never lived in a state with open carry. I went over to one of my employees, I was a manager, and I was like, it's legal here, isn't it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. It didn't bother me. It just caught me off guard because it's not something I'd ever seen before. And, you know, because I lived in Florida like my whole life. But, you know, I 100% agree that we should have open carry.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make you a target in those extreme circumstances, like you said. You know, if the guy's like off his rocker, he's going to target the guy with the gun first because that's his biggest threat to himself. But you're right, in those petty theft cases, it might prevent them from even, you know, like all the gun ranges around here.
Yeah.
They open carry inside because it's a private prop. You're allowed to carry. You're allowed to open carry on private property. You're not going to try and rob a gun store.
No.
Every single owner or employee in there has one on their hip. It's not going to be intelligent.
Well,
It's going to end poorly.
robbing the bank, even though banks don't, it would be stupid nowadays. They're mostly bulletproof and they don't even have cops in them anymore.
A lot of them have armed guards.
They do now?
Around here, they do.
I don't know. I haven't been in banks
There was
anymore.
a string of robberies in our area.
I remember there was the one that the guy.
This was years ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
They were hitting a lot of Ozark banks, and there was a string of robberies. I was working at one of the banks when it happened.
Well,
we
there was
got
the
an
one-
armed guard the next day. It was like, okay.
Yeah. But needless to say, I think that guns are more of a deterrent, and I think that we just need to start red pilling people. I mean, I think that the reason why I think that I'm the most qualified to be a state house representative is the fact that I will tell you that me and everyone else in there is not qualified to be making the decisions that they are making. And that is the qualification. Same thing with with cops. I don't think that most cops are qualified to be cops.
Well, and I think even just doing this podcast, whether people agree with you or not, it at least shows your beliefs.
Yeah.
Like how many politicians are out there actually doing podcasts and spreading what they actually believe to the public. Most of it's done under the guise of campaigning, which when they're campaigning, most 95% of them at least, if not more, lie on their campaign trail just so they can get elected. I mean, it's...
Well, but the real thing is that...
transparency.
Well,
Is
I mean...
is what I was getting at.
If Trump were... Imagine Trump were 10 times smarter than me.
He probably is.
Even if he is. Even if he's 100 times smarter than me. I mean...
Like maybe in his old age not, but...
Even with that being said, the amount of authority, the amount of power that he has, the amount of power that a single congressman has.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that a congressman can go... Yeah, Speaker of the House.
Yeah,
I mean...
We're going to get off topic. We could do a whole other podcast on
Yeah,
this,
there's so many different topics.
Let's wrap this up with, you know...
We just... I think that 9/11, we need to take a red pill, and that's really the answer.
There needs to be some transparency that comes out. It would be nice to get some more answers on it. We all know that we've been lied to, whether it's on a grand scale or a small scale. At least I think we all know that, by and large. But, yeah.
Yeah. 9/11 is not the official story.
I agree. Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think?
Evaporate, thermite, multiple bombs.
Or just simply say, yeah, I agree with the narrative, or I don't agree with the narrative. I mean, you don't have to get into all the whatever crazy conspiracy you might believe, but
Pre-cut,
let us know what you think.
beams.
Be interesting to see some comments, see what people are thinking.
Edit the Fed, or audit the Fed, I mean. Edit the Fed. Audit the Fed. What?
What do you mean? Just saying audit the Fed?
Well, like I said, the part of the Pentagon that got hit, I'm pretty sure they were currently working on auditing the Fed.
Oh,
So,
I don't know. The official story is that it was under construction
yeah.
for remodel, renovation. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a great podcast. Like I said, let us know in the comments what you think about 9/11. It'd be interesting to see what you guys say. Sorry we're about a week late getting to it, but we did that for obvious reasons.
Out of respect.
Yep.
Yep.
So, thank you again.
Yep. I don't think